Hi guys, welcome back to Chris Cowland's YouTube channel. This is the live watch along for the Europa League Tottenham Hotspur versus Elfsborg game. Everybody knows a win tonight will see Tottenham into the top 8 of the Europa League Mega League table and means that we have to avoid a two-legged playoff tie and go straight to the last 16. So we know what we have to do, but are we capable of doing it? Is the squad capable of doing it? Before I get into all of that, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. Please, wherever you are, do get involved. Send us your comments. Please, if you're on YouTube, do give this video a like. Make sure, if you're not already, that you subscribe to Chris Cowland's YouTube channel. He is, of course, the Don of Tottenham Hotspur content, just spewing out Spurs content endlessly every single day. He really gives you so much stuff. So please do give him a subscribe. And also, he will be back tonight, 11 o'clock, after all of this watch along, and then after I do a post-match reaction video and a fan call-in show, and then at 11 o'clock, Chris will be back with the Spurs Chat podcast, where he'll be joined by Gareth McGuinness, Dustin Lau, and Matt Fielder. So, endless Tottenham Hotspur content tonight. Also, Chris is at the game as ever, and he will be posting video updates on this channel. So open up another little window and see, keep an eye on what Chris is posting throughout the game, probably videos of the fans during the game, celebrations, and then also he'll bring you the post-match press conferences as well. Some very exciting news today that potentially Tottenham are looking at making a big signing. I'm almost reticent to talk about it because I feel like we've been here so many times before, haven't we? Big name signing, looking like he's coming to Spurs, and then the other clubs like vultures circle to steal them from under our, well, from our grip, from our mitts. What was I going to say? From under our, I don't really know. But anyway, for previously it was Willian. Maybe it will be Matthias Tell from Bayern Munich, but some interesting reports that are, beginning of today, when all the reports kind of came in yesterday, I was literally saying on my video on my channel, I refuse to believe it. I've seen it too many times before, but as the day goes on, and I've just seen Jamie Redknapp do an interview on Sky Sports News on their transfer show where he said he's spoken to Harry Kane about him today and asked for his advice on him. And Harry Kane only said pleasant and good things, said he's a good trainer, good finisher, raw, lots of potential. I am starting to wonder whether this is one that Tottenham might get over the line because they want to do a permanent deal for about £60 million, or maybe it's 60 million euros, whereas the other clubs interested, the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, are more keen on a loan deal, apparently. Also, the other thing that makes me wonder whether Matthias Tell may come to Spurs, and please do let me know what you think in the comments. Let's have a chat about it. But Tottenham, of course, are owed money by Bayern Munich for the Harry Kane deal, installments. And so a lot of this deal could be about taking away some of those installments. And let's face it, the installments are going to start getting paid off if they're not already, because Harry Kane is just scoring goal after goal after goal. And I think, if I'm right, they certainly were 6 points ahead in the Bundesliga. So it looks like Harry Kane is going to shake that non-trophy abuse off his back. But anyway, I will try and keep up with my ex, with Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein throughout the game. And if anything happens, I will bring that to the watch along as well. But let's get into the team news for Spurs. Here it is. Brandon Austin, of course, in goal because Tony Kinski cannot play. He's ineligible for this phase of the Europa League. And then Pedro Porro has to start again at right back. He is not able to get a rest, unfortunately. The big news, of course, Mickey van der Ven back in at centre back. And I have to say, I'll talk about it in a minute a bit more, but I am nervous about us throwing him straight back in. He's been re-injured so many times. I'm just desperate for him to gain some fitness and stay fit. Then it's Ben Davies and Archie Gray making up the rest of the back five. Where do you think Davies will play? Will he play central, or will he play on the left with Gray central? I mean, ideally, I think you'd want some balance of a right footer and a left footer. So that makes me think Archie Gray would play on the right side of the two centre-backs. But then I think Ange has said in his time at Spurs that he doesn't see Ben Davies as a left-back anymore. So who knows? We'll see what happens. Then in midfield, Bentancur, Sarr and Bergvall. And then up front in the forward line, Mikey Moore, Richarlison and Son Heung-min. On the bench, Forster, Whiteman, Hardy, Dragoshin, Casanova, Bissouma, Olusesi, Ajayi, Deki Kulusevski, Dane Scarlett, and Will Lancashire. In terms of talking points, I'm really hoping that Mikey Moore will start on the right tonight, because if memory serves, that is where he started against Ferencvaros, where I think he had his best game for Spurs. He was driving in off the right on his natural left foot, driving into central areas, and that's where he looked kind of at his happiest. So I'm hoping that Sonny will start on the left with Mikey Moore on the right. I'm pleased that Deki Kulusevski is getting a rest. He is on the bench, but he hasn't had a rest for such a long time. So really pleased that he is getting a little bit of a rest. And I'm so hoping that we don't get another injury that means he has to come on after about 10 minutes. Which would be so frustrating. Richarlison maybe surprisingly starting this game. He went off obviously early in the second half, and Ange said in his post-match press conference after Leicester that he'd been feeling his groin at halftime. And I felt and said in my videos on my channel this week that I think Ange, as the players are coming out of the tunnel now, I felt that Ange kept Richarlison on for too long and that he's a little bit not pragmatic enough, let's put it that way, when it comes to injured players and bringing them back in and keeping them on the pitch too long when they have a little bit of an injury. Is it another risk to start Richarlison today? Probably. Does he have many options? No. He could have started Will Lancashire, who of course started at Galatasaray and got that goal, but he doesn't seem too keen to start Will Lancashire that much at the moment. Pape Massar, another player who was clearly woefully unfit against Leicester. He just couldn't pass it 5 yards and got taken off at halftime. He starts again tonight, and we need something better from him for sure. What else? Obviously, the importance of tonight is huge. If we can get a win, then we will be in that top 8, and it misses out the playoffs. I have to say, and you guys who are regulars with me, you'll accuse me of being too negative, but I feel like I've been in this position. I've seen this so many times. And Elfsborg, who've only played 3 games since November when the Swedish season finished, they will be fresh. They may be a little bit rusty, but they will be fresh, and they will know that we are not fresh. So I really fear that unless we can get kind of 3 goals in the first half, I really fear that that second half is going to see us get deeper and deeper and deeper, as we did against Hoffenheim. And Elfsborg will, and they brought a lot of fans with them, and they're very excitable, these fans. Elfsborg will come at us, and it could be a very difficult game. Brandon Austin starts again, I think, for just his 3rd start in the Premier League. He's looked very calm in games so far, especially with the ball at his feet, so I feel fine with that. Dane Scarlett's back on the bench, and there's some talk going around that if Scarlett gets on the pitch, he won't be able to go on loan again this season. So that's an interesting one as to why he is in the team. Just to say that the graphics on the Europa League graphics are saying that Ben Davies will start at centre-back on the left, with Archie Gray at left-back and Van der Ven on the right-hand side of the 2 centre-halves. It'll be interesting to see if that's right. Vicario is back in training, but he's not on the bench. It's Forster and Whiteman as the 2 keepers on the bench. Obviously, it's deemed to be too soon, but great to see that Vicario is back in training. I'm sure you saw this week that Ange came out and said that QT Romero's injury is more of a slow burner, so that is a bit devastating. Hard to see him getting back in terms of the Liverpool game next week. I will, just before the game kicks off, as Son Heung-min is about to exchange pleasantries with his opposite number on the halfway line, I'm going to be doing a full transfer talk video tomorrow morning, bringing you up to date with all the latest on Matthias Tell, some reports of Fikayo Tomori as well, potentially interesting Spurs right now. So if you like your transfer talk, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@Barnaby Slater _. You can see it there in the bottom left, @Barnaby Slater _. That underscore is all important. And I bring you daily Tottenham and transfer news. So we're only about 1 minute before kickoff. There are apparently some protests in the ground, anti-Levy protests. Let's get into the comments, guys. Alan Marshall says Cooley will come on if things are going our way. Ron Tyler, thanks for writing in, mate, says hope we can get a few goals in the first half so we can take people off, I think is what you're trying to say there, Ron. Yeah, McFunnedy says good day from down under. Yeah, good day, mate. Randin, thanks for writing, says Richarlison's on a roll. Hopefully bags one today. And Scarlett plays as well. Well, probably not if it means he can't get a loan out. Son needs rest. Hopefully puts in a good shift and leaves by half-time. Listen, I love this positivity, guys, but really, in terms of how knackered everyone is, should we be positive? I don't think so. And they are going to make a racket. I said it on a video this week on my channel. This is like, people love coming to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The players and the fans of opposition clubs, they love what a day out it is, and they love what a stadium it is and all of this. And this will be a difficult game. Elfsborg have given a lot of big clubs difficulty. Galatasaray, they got a few goals, away at Galatasaray. Oh, and the game is now kicked off, by the way. That kind of surprised me, as there was a cut into the crowd there. But anyway, Spurs have started, and Porro gets the ball out wide right. Anyway, I don't want to be too negative. Let's hope it goes our way. And come on, you Spurs. 1,000 of you guys watching now. And Son is starting on the left as Richarlison gets into Lucas Bergvall. Spurs popping it about early doors here. 1,000 of you watching, guys. Please do press that like button. And Archie Gray is playing centre back, but he's on the right hand side with Mickey van der Ven on the left. Yeah, so Ben Davies is playing at left back. I think that's the right decision for some balance as Archie Gray gets the ball out wide to Mikey Moore, whose first touch is brilliant. Comes inside, beats 2 players already. Mikey Moore, get it in the box. Great cross. Oh, Mikey Moore, what a player! Comes all the way to Sonny. He has a shot, and the keeper saves. Outstanding from Mikey Moore. I'm telling you, his position is on the right-hand side. That's where he's so dangerous. When he plays on the left, he kind of gets the ball with his back to goal too often and doesn't feel confident cutting in on his right-hand side. I'm telling you, until he becomes a proper number 10 for Spurs, which will be probably in a couple of years' time, he needs to start more games on the right-hand side. That was brilliant. He beat 2 men, drove into the box and got a great cross in, and Spurs nearly scored from it. Great start. Good stuff from Sarr to Bentancur there, but unfortunately Lucas Bergvall loses it. Bergvall just pressing hard there. Elfsborg finding some room in midfield, and that leads to a throw-in to them. The commentators just talking about how Bentancur didn't get much help in midfield on Sunday, and I think that's an understatement, frankly. That second goal of Leicester's was absolutely beyond the pale, as far as I'm concerned. So I can see from the clock that I am about 17 seconds delayed, guys. 17 seconds delayed. And Elfsborg have a long throw merchant because they're about 40 yards out, and the throw is going to come in. Let's see this one. Oh, it's just like Tamworth. It's not quite as big as Tamworth, and Porro does well to win the first one. Comes to the edge of the box, and they get it in. It's an early touch for Brandon Austin. Van der Ven giving him an option, and he rolls it out to Van der Ven. It's great to see Mickey back on the pitch, but God, I'm so worried about him getting injured again. As Bentancur finds Ben Davies, goes easy down the line to Son, who's pressed, and kicks it off the pitch. He was pressed pretty hard. I thought they might give that as a Spurs throw, but they haven't. Elfsborg now. I have seen some of their play, and they in this Europa League campaign so far, they do play some good stuff, especially in the final third. So, you know, considering this is Spurs they're playing against, you'd expect them to score some goals, wouldn't you? Porro just handballed it there, but the ref lets him get away with it, deemed as accidental. And Mickey van der Ven opens the ball out to Ben Davies, who probably never thought he'd play left back for Spurs again. Oh, lovely turn from Sonny. Absolutely sends his man for a hot dog. But Sonny lets him get back, but he cuts inside narrow now. Ben Davies had made a good run outside him. I thought Son could have maybe played him in, but he didn't. Archie Gray now out to Pape Matar in that little right half space. The second lot of touches for Mikey Moore now. He goes back to Sarr, who plays a bit of a dangerous ball to Van der Ven, who was under a bit of pressure, and finds Archie Gray with a bit of a rusty pass, but it was in our own half and no one was there. As Pape Matar, whilst not even running, manages to get the ball stuck under his feet. Van der Ven, though, good ball out to Sonny, who plays it just behind Lucas Bergvall, and that's unfortunate. And Elfsborg pick it up, and Ben Davies gets an important foot in there, and it falls to Sonny. There's a chance for a break there for Elfsborg, but Davies's foot in, very important. Seeing as I'm only 17 seconds behind, I'm going to get into the comments during the game. Neil Saniel sent a nice one. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Says, praying for the team today. That's the only chance. We've got a cat's in hell chance of winning. Godfrey Drummond says, slightly better bench tonight for a change. Elfsborg have 3 men forward here. Oh, and they play a good ball into the striker's feet, you know, and he's in the left-hand side channel, and Van der Ven uses his strength to out-muscle him off the ball. And Porro probably turns the wrong way, but then clears it, but straight to Elfsborg. And they're in down the left here, Elfsborg. And again, Bentancur had to help her out. And there's a chance for a break here, but Mikey Moore, unfortunately, just loses it. And Elfsborg now opening it out into the right-hand side. But a good interception on a long shot from Elfsborg. It's a bit bitty here outside the box. Comes to the left-hand side now, and they have a player one-on-one now with Porro. Mikey Moore gets his body in the right position. They have to go backwards, but they get an early cross in here, and they will... Look, and there was just... Listen, any of you who watch me do these watch-alongs regularly will know how frustrated I get at how easy we let people cross and how badly we mark crosses in the middle. And that was another situation there where the cross just so easily found the Elfsborg striker. But anyway, Ben Davies into Lucas Bergvall, turns his man well, Finds some space narrow. Lovely stuff from Lucas Bergvall. Out to Porro, who takes responsibility, drives forward into midfield. He looks a bit leggy with the ball, Porro, but he's going to try a cross into Richarlison. Just over his head. Beautiful stuff. I love that from Porro. Whenever he sees Richarlison in the box, he wants to find him. But that was good stuff. Phil DeRoom says, hello, Barnaby. Kerry Iguasu, sorry, with the Australian flag, and come on, you Spurs. Sean Ansell says, love Bentancur as defensive mid. He just cuts off so much, leaves Lucas free to run. Yeah, I like him there too, but needs some help sometimes. So he wins a header, gets it into Richarlison, who's fouled, and the ref does give that foul as Richarlison goes down, just rubbing his leg. I'm sure he'll be okay. Phil DeRoom says, come on, you Spurs, got a good feeling. Good morning, Barnaby from Melbourne. Well, I hope you're right, Phil. I really do. The issue I have, as I mentioned already, is just Elfsborg will know that if they can just stay in this game, then Spurs will tire noticeably in the second half. Popping it about nicely at the moment. Van der Ven put under a bit of pressure, opens his legs up, and finds Bentancur to his right, who finds Porro, who has Mikey Moore outside him. Comes inside narrow again, beats another man already. Driving into the box. What a player this kid is. Comes to Bergvall. My God, I love it. Porro with the cross. And it's cleared. Tell you what, if Mikey Moore doesn't get injured and plays so well tonight, then he could be an answer to start so we can get Kulusevski back into that 10 role against Brentford at the weekend. Son tries to get across him. It's easily cleared. Just get it out to Moore. This feels a bit like that Ferencvaros game when after the game, James Maddison said, we realised in the 20-minute period after half-time, we just had to get it to Mikey Moore. And Sonny beats his man with a double step over on the left and is fouled. This is a good area for Spurs. Kind of level out wide, but level with the 6-yard box. So Spurs will have a free kick. David Adisa says, Barnaby, what do you think about Tell? I'm reticent. I said it in my opening. Basically, this morning I was saying there's no chance we'll get him. I've seen this too many times before. We'll get gazumped, and I still feel that way. But as the day goes on and I see more reports, I do think there's a chance. And I hate myself for thinking there's a chance we might get him through the door. And he is a very exciting young player. And at 19 years old, he really fits the transfer strategy. Sonny is going to take this free kick. He's going to be bending it in towards the goal from the left-hand side. Moore is over it as well. They're getting players around the keeper. Here comes Son. Oh, he goes low, and it's easily cleared by the first man, and that's a corner to Spurs. Stuart Blair sent a nice one. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. GGGGG says, I'm not watching. Hope this guy ain't overhyping Mikey. I think he will get there, but I'm patient. Yeah. We need to be patient, but all I'm saying is I definitely think he's more suited to the right side than the left from what I've seen so far. I really like him coming in narrow onto his more natural left foot from the right-hand side. He's clearly a talent. Anyway, here comes the corner. In-swinger from Sonny. Chance! Oh! It was Ben Davis coming in with the keeper, and I think the ref has given a free kick to Elfsborg, but it was a great corner from Son, really pressurized. And actually, it's Moore. I tell you what, I think they've given the free kick because Moore is kind of blocking the keeper, doing a bit of Arsenal work there. And Ben Davis kind of had a header, but he's punched by the keeper in the end. But that was a better set piece from Spurs than we usually see. Van der Ven gets the ball back to Austin, and they're not pressing Austin, and he'll be pleased about that. I think it's fair to say. He gives it out to Archie Gray. Arctic Phoenix is great. Says Levy must have accidentally typed an extra 0 in his offer. He'll have a heart attack when he realizes he's spent more than a meal deal. Yeah, very funny. Gardu says, yeah, Mikey in this game from the right side demonstrated a lot more confidence to weave with the ball. I like him to try to find someone to pull into his weaving to play 1-2, so open route to go. Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's the kind of thing you can imagine when Madders and and or Decky are playing in the 10 with him, that's what they'll offer him. And Sonny has started well as well, as he plays a good ball into Richarlison's feet, who tries to play Ben Davies into the channel. And Davies did really well then and was tripped up. And anywhere else on the pitch, I promise that would have been given as a foul, but the ref kind of didn't want to give it as a foul, as Mickey van der Ven then recovers the ball so quickly for Spurs. Great stuff. What a player Mickey van der Ven is, by the way. Dave Bowerman, thank you, mate. That's a lovely comment. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. 1,400 of you now watching this with me, guys. Thank you so much for your support. Make sure you give the video a like and subscribe to Chris's channel and my channel, which you can see in the bottom left-hand corner there. I'm getting close to 15,000 subscribers, guys. So if you're not a subscriber and you want daily transfer news, always starting with Tottenham's transfer talk, of course, please do give me a subscribe at Barnaby Slater _ on YouTube. Sonny now plays a ball into Davies, doing well, and that's another corner to Spurs. No, he's given it as a goal kick, and Davies, who's getting forward really well and enjoying the freedom, disappointed that that wasn't given as a corner. Good little ball in the channel there from Richarlison. Well, Glenn Hoddle on Cocoms is saying there's no touch here, but I bet there is. There literally is a touch. But he's saying that Davies instigated it. Phil DeRoom says, loved Cooley's press conference. It gave a great insight to what the players are feeling. Yeah, I wrote a tweet after it saying captain, leader, legend. It was really captainy, Decky Kulusevski's press conference. I can recommend that you see it if you haven't watched it yet. Archie Gray, looking like the Rolls Royce he is. So comfortable on the ball at centre-back. And Ben Davies now plays it across to Rodrigo Bentancur. Risho66 says, evening all Everton. Got an Everton fan in. Hello, mate. Coming to see how Richarlison's doing. Got a good goal at the weekend against Leicester, but for me, just need to keep him fit at the moment because Solanke's out injured. Mikey Moore on the ball again. Actually, I'll ask you, Everton fan, did Richarlison get injured a lot when he played for you? Because he's barely got on the pitch for Spurs. It's so frustrating considering we gave you 60-odd million for him. Bergvall plays it out to Archie Gray, who finds Porro in the half space again. And Spurs just moving Elfsborg from side to side. 12 minutes gone at the moment. 0-0. Ben Davies now out to Sonny again, who's starting very wide. Sonny gives it to Bergvall, who goes first time back to Davies. And back to Son, and then back to Davies. Elfsborg, well coached. They know what they're doing. Porro plays a bit of a dodgy ball out to Sarr, whose touch is horrible, but he gives it to Mikey Moore. He was tempted to go inside to Porro, but the channel was cut off. Sarr to Bentancur, to Sarr, inside to Mickey van der Ven, who gets it out to Ben Davies, who was tempted to do a cross from deep there, but he's given it to Son and then gone on a run, and Sonny's running at his man again and gives Davies lovely 1-2. He's at the byline now, Son, and it goes out for a corner. Good stuff between them, though. Really good stuff. 13th minute. It's another corner. So Son's going to whip in towards the keeper. Spurs with a little love train on the penalty spot. It's a delivery again, right on top of the keeper. Oh, and it's another corner. It was flicked on by an Elfsborg defender at the near post, and Van der Ven would have just nodded that into an empty net had the number 8 not got an important flick on that. Yeah, and Mikey Moore is kind of blocking the keeper. He's doing a really good job, Mikey Moore. He's just standing there, and the keeper's having to push him out the way. At last, we're doing things to opposition that people have been doing to us. And this will be an outswinger from Pedro Porro. And from my recollection, our only goals this season from set pieces have been outswingers to Bentancur. Oh, but they've gone short instead. Out to Bergvall, who gets an early... Well, they tried something off the training ground then. It didn't work because they laid it out to Bergvall and he tried to find Richarlison in the right-hand channel. It didn't work. Morgan 80-82 says, just joined. I assume we're smashing them. 0-0, mate. Neil Fraud, Barnaby, I hope you enjoy commentating as much as I enjoy listening to you. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Liam McHugh, Coy, Spurs fan for over 60 years. Liam, County Tyrone. Lovely to have you, mate. Appreciate it. Dark Beast says, Spurs don't need a result here, do they? Not that they shouldn't try to get one. Yeah, we do. We need a win to guarantee a place in the top 8, which would mean we would miss a 2-legged playoff round, which, frankly, with all the injuries, we desperately need to not have. Richarlison flicks one on. Nearly came to Mikey Moore, but Elfsborg managed to clear it. Bentancur then uses his body to get it back to Bergvall, who tries a very bizarre back pass, and then Austin comes out. And yeah, he did well there. Austin heads it out of play for an Elfsborg throw-in. Michael Manley says, how long is Romero still out for? Well, Ange described it as a slow burner. So from here, I am doubting whether he will play in the Liverpool game next week, unfortunately. Mikey Moore pressing the keeper, who is forced to go long into midfield. Van der Ven is under it. He gets bumped. He won't like that. And then he wins the second one to Bentancur, who lays it out well to Porro. He plays a bit of a dodgy ball, but it finds its way to Bergvall, who didn't see at all that there was a man telegraphing a pass back to Ben Davis. And now Elfsborg are in down the right, and they're going to wait for a man to come and get a first-time cross in. And you know what that means, but it's cleared at the front. And then Richarlison is fouled. And that's what Richarlison brings us, an ability to hold the ball up as it gets cleared from our own box. Kevin McGurk, interesting point this. He says, Austin is decent enough for us to get £7 or £8 million for. Do you know what? The more I've been thinking this recently as Mikey Moore is under pressure on the right and he wins a foul. I've been thinking about this because, yeah, he's done so well that actually he could get us a few £1 million if, let's say, a championship team come in for him. Yeah, it was a little mistake from Bergvall there. Put us under pressure, but we've sorted it now. Michael Manley says, where will we realistically finish in the league? 10th. Hopefully. Mikey Moore, again, driving inside. Fronting up players. Good ball into Richarlison, who tries to find Moore back. Richarlison then wins a 50-50. Good stuff. Mikey Moore, oh, he nearly broke for him on the edge of the box, and then he tried a bit too difficult ball the wrong way to Pat Matassar. And that is an Elfsborg throw. But Moore, again, being the only player so far to really drive, well, other than Sonny maybe, at the Elfsborg box. Dave Bauman says, why sell Austin? He's a perfect third choice. Yeah, no, I'm not saying we will sell him. I'm just saying, you know, if a team came in for him, you'd probably get a bit more money than we would have expected a few weeks ago. Spurs on the ball now. Get it out wide to Porro. Comes inside again to Van der Ven, who gives it to Davis in the half space. Davis goes back across to Archie Gray as we move the Elfsborg front line around. And Mikey Moore makes a run over the top, and Porro tries to find him, but there's too much on it, and that goes through to the keeper. But it's good for Moore, you know, showing to the ball a lot and how he can beat players, but also then trying to make a run over the top as well. So the Elfsborg defense will never know exactly what he's trying to do. Michael Manley, what forward do I want going forward to replace Rishi long term? Well, I think Solanke has replaced Rishi long term, as Bentancur just sweeps up in front of his back line with the help of Archie Gray. But, you know, let's see what happens with this Matthias Tell deal. It's Bergvall. Gets it out to Sonny, who finds Bergvall inside again. Bergvall has to do a bit of running around. Then he tries a difficult ball, Bergvall, and he loses it. He's lost it a few times already, Lucas Bergvall. But then he gets his body in the way well, and Spurs win it back. Yeah, Dave Bauman says, I want Rishi to stay, but stay fit. I agree. Godfrey Drummond says, Whiteman and Force will probably leave in the summer on a Bosman. I think, yeah, they'll be on a free for sure because their contracts run out. Sonny plays it into Bergvall, who gets it straight back to Davis. Bentancur lays it across to Archie Gray in the 19th minute now, 20th minute. Mikey Moore, beautiful first-time ball to Porro, whose cross is poor, unfortunately. But what a first-time ball for Moore, who's been the standout player so far. I love Mikey Moore on the right-hand side. I really love him there. Spurs back on the ball now with Ben Davis. Just moving Elfsborg around at the moment. Archie Gray out to Moore. Again, a beautiful first-time touch to Porro. Oh, who plays another bad ball to Moore, but Bentancur picks it up and goes back to Porro, who comes inside to Ben Davis. He's got a lot of space. Immediately looks for Sonny on the left, who's one-on-one here. He's already beaten this man once. He comes narrow this time. Good chance for a cross. There's a bit too much on it, but I love that from Son because Richarlison was in a really good position there. Really good. Oh, and now Elfsborg are doing well, but they've kicked it off the pitch. They were nearly in down the left there. I'd like to see us get Sonny into more of those positions on the left where he cuts into on his right-hand side and tries to play that in-swinging cross with Richarlison getting close to it. Godfrey says, if the deal falls through, keep our eyes on Rashford, true Levy style. Rangers have gone one up in their game, by the way. Rashford's wages, I think, are prohibitive, to say the least. But Man United are probably in a situation now where they realise they're going to have to subsidise those wages wherever he goes. Bit of a worry, though. I wonder what's happening in Rashford's private life where, you know, his manager's saying that he can't train. I also saw an interview with Wayne Rooney today where he said he spoke to him and said, you need to get out of Man United. There's some kind of underlying stuff going on with Rashford that we don't know about. I'm sure of that because he's such a talented player. Anyway, Van der Ven out to Bergvall. You can hear the Elfsborg fans. They're loving their day out. Bergvall into Bentancur. Back to Bergvall and back to Bentancur. He plays it inside to Archie Gray. About 15 yards inside the Elfsborg half. And it was a bit of a poor ball from Archie Gray to Moore. But we've got it into Bentancur now. He's in down the right. He's going to get a cross in. Can't beat the first man, unfortunately. But that was good stuff down the right-hand side. Good touch to keep the ball as it was cleared from Pedro Porro. And we start again. Archie Gray to Mickey van der Ven. Tottenham's line as they got the ball so high. And obviously we know that with Van der Ven's pace, although I don't really want to see him have to sprint tonight, then it means that if they break, that can be covered. Van der Ven and Archie Gray about 10 yards inside the Elfsborg half. Just Spurs really compressing Elfsborg. Sonny beats his man on the left twice, beats two men, and he's running now. He's got to find someone. He beats three men, Son, and then he was tripped, unfortunately, and it ends up with a header from Porro. He did get his cross in, Son. That was good from Sonny. And it looked like the ball just went out, but ended up with a header from Porro straight into the keeper's arms. Kevin McGurk saying Sonny on fire. Bentancur tries a ball over the top towards Son now, who gets his body in the way and tries to head it back to Bergvall, but can't quite manage it. I've just been asked, where's my lucky hat? It's not a lucky hat. This is my lucky top, though. The only time I've worn it without anything over it. We won. Anyway, Son. Good from Davis into Son's feet. He finds Sarr. Sarr doesn't look that confident. His first touch is always backwards at the moment. Anyway, Bentancur finds Porro, who goes back to Bentancur. Yeah, Dave Bauman said that hat is actually unlucky. Yeah, well, maybe. Gardu says Son almost wanted to fall there to engineer a penalty. Yeah, he felt something, didn't he? Matthew Creed, lucky top. Excellent, yeah. Spurs, 23rd minute. Sonny looking to drive at Elfsborg. He feels like there's something there for him as Bergvall helps him out, actually, because he'd lost the ball there. And Son is now in central midfield, but just lays it off to Porro. Son looks like he's got the bit between his teeth a little bit here. Maybe he's seeing what Mikey Moore's doing on the right and thinking, I better try and give us a similar option. Oh, lovely on the half turn from Bergvall. Gives it into Son. He's going to have a shot with his left foot there, Son. Hits the first defender and falls to their fullback who's able to clear it. And the long ball, Van der Ven deals with very easily, gives it to Davis, and Spurs recycle again. And this is something Spurs haven't been great at in the last couple of months, the recycling of the ball and the keeping of the ball. As Porro finds a good ball into Pape Matar. He's got a chance to cross, cuts it back to Bergvall. Oh, it was actually Porro, took it off Bergvall's feet. Ben Davis. Oh, and now this will be the first time that Van der Ven has to sprint because Elfsborg are through. Not through, but back at us. But Van der Ven did really well. He's had a good start to the game here. I've been mentioning for the last few weeks, we do miss some physicality in this team, and Van der Ven has given us a bit more of that. It's Mikey Moore, lays it out to Porro. Porro comes back to Sarr, who comes inside to Bentancur. He tried to find Mikey Moore, but it was a poor ball from Bentancur. But then the Elfsborg player slipped. In fact, a couple of slips there, and Spurs have won the ball back, but that's a handball from Pape Matar. It was. It was. Doug Hill says VDV looks fit. That I will cross my fingers for. Dark B says, do you think Van der Ven will come off early in the second half projection? Well, Ange said in his pre-match that he thinks he'll only give him about 45 minutes. Elfsborg have a free kick after that handball, and they take it now to their left-hand side. And they go for the big, long ball over the top there, and that's poor. And comes all the way through to Austin. Yeah, Kevin McGurk says, I'm terrified of seeing Mickey Van der Ven sprinting. I couldn't agree more, mate. So am I. I think if I was Ange, I'd just say, don't sprint, mate. I'd rather us concede a goal than see you sprint. But Bergvall, that was good on the half turn, and now he's driving at their right back. Bergvall now in down the left. Finds a good ball into Richarlison. His first touch wasn't great, but he's driving. He's looking for an option here. Bentancur on the edge of the box. Lays it out to Porro, who tries a first-time cross, and it gets to Pape Sarr, but it's cleared. Now a chance on the transition for Elfsborg. And of course... Oh, and then Bentancur did what he did against Leicester and just did a mad bit of pressing there. And they're in down left. But Richarlison worked so hard to get all the way back. Good lad. And now Spurs are on the transition. Bergvall tries a bit of a paradise ball, and that was poor. We lost the ball now. Roller Polo 66 is where the Spurs fans can only hear Elfsborg supporters in the stadium. Yeah, it's a weird time, isn't it, at the Spurs ground? They haven't seen Tottenham win since, what is it, the beginning of November at home? So, you know, there's not a lot to be pumped up about at the moment if you're a Spurs fan at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So we've got to give them something to shout about on the pitch. As Sarr finds Ben Davis breaking forward. He loves this inverted role, Ben Davis. Son finds Ben Davis now. He's going to whack a cross, and that's going to be a goal kick because his cross hit the defender and then hit Davis. But that's good stuff. We're getting in some good positions down the left-hand side. Although they're just showing Bergvall, and I fear he tried a ball with the outside of his boot, and Ange wasn't loving that. But I'm worried that they're looking at Bergvall because he looked like his hand on his hamstring there. But it's more, I think, that Ange was livid with him. Michael Zeng says, Rishi was further back than the midfielders. That's the problem. Painfully obvious statement number one from I'm older than Sam. Spurs are so much better with Mickey Van der Ven on the pitch. Come on, you Spurs. Well, yeah, that's true. When you spend £50 million on a defender, you know, that's what you get if you're lucky. And we've got an absolute Rolls Royce in Mickey Van der Ven. And the ball comes to Mikey Moore again now, who we haven't seen enough of in the last kind of 15 minutes or so. Van der Ven plays a ball into Rishi's feet, and he does well to hold it up and get it back to Van der Ven. And the centre-back followed Rishi all the way there. Jack Legros says, Elfsborg, very poor opposition, but Spurs struggling. Lovely ball over the top to Son. He's got a chance to cross it again, and that's good defending at the near post. Really great cross from Son on the volley by the byline. And Rishi tried to get across the front, and now the Elfsborg player is down. Yeah, it was Van der Ven with a beautifully chipped pass over to Sonny. And Richarlison nearly got across his man, but it was really good defending. And that's why the player went down, because it's 30 minutes gone and the Elfsborg team are all having a huddle around their manager. And as far as I'm concerned, Tottenham should be allowed to just kick off and play, because it's completely ridiculous that this is allowed. Half an hour gone. Kevin McGurk asks, is Van der Ven giving us confidence on the pitch? True leader. Stuart Blaze says, Van der Ven is a Bugatti. We need more like that. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Mark Ed says, imagine Ledley King and Van der Ven at the back. So this was Spurs' throw, and all of the Elfsborg players were in a huddle with their team. And the ref, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, Davis found Bergvall. He plays it into the middle to Porro. He's got a lot of space, so he has a really long shot, and it's over the bar. It was from about 50 yards, 40 yards. It was silly, really. So as it stands, Spurs in 7th place at the moment, with Rangers down in 14th because they've just been equalised against. Remember, Spurs need to get in the top 8 as Bergvall clears up in midfield and gives it back to Austin, who quickly gives it to Van der Ven. He finds Bergvall again. I'm hoping that when Elfsborg had that huddle, Andrew was able to get into Lucas Bergvall and just say to him, look, just do it easy, mate. You don't need to do paradise stuff. Just do it easy. As the ball comes to Pape Sarr on the right, who's had a quiet game so far as well. He's just legs at the moment, frankly. Ben Davis on the left goes out wide to Sonny. He has Bergvall outside him. Oh, and Sonny beats his man so simply. Beautiful stuff from Son. Now he's driving and goes to Bentancur, and Ben Davis brings it into the centre to Archie Gray. And it comes back to Ben Davis now again. And now Bergvall's got some space on the left, and he lays it into Sonny, who's at the byline. Oh, and he beats his man beautifully, Sonny. Chance Spurs! Oh, and Sarr, who I just kind of slagged off. The ball deflected out to him, and he got a shot away, and it's kind of either saved. Yeah, it was saved. Great stuff from Son. I've not seen Son be so direct for so long. And he's got it again. He's driving at them again. Another chance for a cross, and that's a corner. So Bergvall laid Sonny down, and then Son looked like he was going to bring it back, but he sent his man for a hot dog, and it came about 11 yards out to Sarr, who gets his left foot on it. Not a great strike. Bobble just before him. Well, it was on the half volley, and it's actually cleared off the line. Corner now. Bent in again from Son. Cleared at the first man. Michael Zeng says Son smelling blood. Okay, Spurs doing things quickly. We've played pretty well this half. I think Elfsborg will be pretty happy too. We've not made loads of chances, but we're getting into the byline a lot, which obviously is a big part when Ange teams are doing well. It's a big part of our game. Oh, bit of a dodgy ball from Sarr to Porro, but he just dealt with it. Sarr rolls his foot over it and gives it to Archie Gray, who goes to Mickey van der Ven, who goes back to Archie Gray. And now we bring it down the right. Sarr gives it into Mikey Moore. And now Sarr gets it back and gives it to Bentancur. And now there's some room for Porro down the right, who's got Mikey Moore outside him, but Porro can't quite find him. It's a throw-in. Porro does it quickly back to Sarr, who comes across to Mickey van der Ven. Lucas Bergvall now. Sonny makes a little outside to in run, and I like that. I've seen that a bit more in the last few weeks from Son. I really like it. Anyway, it comes across now to Sarr, who goes outside to Porro. It comes back to Bentancur. Spurs just moving Elfsborg around. Comes to Mickey van der Ven now. And some space for Son again on the left. Bergvall makes a run outside him. He finds him, goes back to Son. And this is where Sonny could maybe get a cross in here. He doesn't. He goes down the line. And this time it's better defended by Elfsborg. And they clear it. But Mickey van der Ven in the right position and drives down the left-hand side and plays a good ball into Sarr, who turns the wrong way there maybe. Yeah, and it comes to Mikey Moore and he loses it. But Sarr gets a good foot in. This is a chance for Spurs outside the box. Porro. It's got Sarr outside him. They've got loads of players back though, Elfsborg. And now it comes to Mikey Moore, who crosses it, comes to Porro, deflected to him. He's got to try and cut it back. Great ball, and unfortunately doesn't fall for Bergvall. Good stuff from Spurs though, and Elfsborg cannot get out at the moment. Good ball into the box to Sarr, but he can't get it. Just made a note here to say Elfsborg can't get out of their third, can they? But they also have so many bodies back that Spurs can't quite find the perfect final ball. Marcus Reed Thomas, thank you for your message. Says, I'm scared all these chances we're having don't materialise when we get done on the counter. Well, I guess you're a Spurs fan then, because that's probably the reality. Doug Hill, we have 5 in the box, but they have 9. Darren Wyman says, I see all this talk of midfielders and attackers. Goal scoring is not an issue. Keeping them out is. Get us a world-class central defensive mid. Oh, good stuff into the box. Richarlison tries to bend it into the far corner. And actually, if he'd got his head up, he would have seen Mikey Moore had made a run at the back post. Gets a world-class central defensive midfielder. Even Calvin Phillips is a makeshift until we get the right one in. I think Calvin Phillips is gone, mate. He's at Ipswich and he's not doing great there, is he? As far as I'm aware. Good stuff from Porro. Yeah, and then he does the hard work, but then isn't able to find anyone outside him. And Elfsborg have the ball now with their centre half. And they go long. And it falls to Van der Ven, who does brilliantly and gives it inside to Bentancur. Absolute player. Mickey Van der Ven. And Bentancur finds Ben Davis, who gives it back to Bergvall. He finds Sonny, who again is kind of one-on-one here. And he drives at his man again and gets an early cross in. It's just cleared at the near post and again cleared out. And Van der Ven wins the clearance and gets it back to Porro. Spurs still in 7th place in the league table as things stand. Oh, as the ball comes into Richarlison, he can't quite control it. Oh, and then Bentancur can't control the clearance. So they have an opportunity to run down the... Now Bentancur's got to be careful not to give away a foul here. And he wins the ball back. Well done, Rodrigo. Great stuff. Now give it easy. He does. Finds Bergvall, who finds it into Ben Davis now, who was tempted to find Sonny, who'd made an out-to-in run again. But no, we go narrow. Bergvall will find Pape Matar there and does. 70% ball possession for Spurs so far. And Sarr drives forward. He's got Moore outside him, so he gives it to him. And now Moore can come in narrow. Porro makes a run outside him. But Moore chooses to come narrow to Sarr, who goes outside to Porro. Oh, he could have found Mikey Moore there, but he doesn't. And we go the early cross here, and it's cleared at the near post, and that's another corner for Spurs, cleared at the back post. Ben Benter says, we need a decent striker, we just don't have the finishing touch. Well, Dominic Solanke, for me, is a great striker. Daryl Norman says, let's hope Matthias Tell is not watching this. Well, actually, if he is, he'd probably be watching and think I could make a difference in this game. But I think we're doing all right here. 2,000 of you watching, guys. Thank you. Short corner from Sonny. Goes to Bentancur. Now Sonny driving into the box again. Goes to the brilliant from Son. Chance! Oh, and a great save. It was Mikey Moore at the front stick. Lovely stuff from Son, who's got the beating of his fullback. And it's a great effort from Moore. Yeah. Commentators just said Son seems to be in the mood. This is the best I've seen him play for a long time. Here comes the corner. It goes deep this time, right onto the keeper's head, who punches it away. And Van der Ven is chasing here. I don't want him to sprint, and he doesn't, and I'm pleased he didn't. But, oh no, they're in down the left here, and Archie Gray, I think, could have dealt with that, but the forward's running at him. He's just got to show him wide here. Show him wide. Show him wide. He's let him come inside. Now show him wide again. And Archie Gray does brilliantly, and that's a goal kick. Brilliant defending from Archie Gray. Really good from Gray. Showed him the right way at the right time and then stretched when he needed to. And in the end, goal kick. Really good defending. Lovely stuff. And do you know what I saw there, which I didn't mind at all? As the ball broke in the Elfsborg half, though, to an in the Elfsborg box, sorry, to an Elfsborg player, Van der Ven was chasing him. And I think if he felt really confident with his hamstring, he would have sprinted. But he thought, it's not worth me sprinting like in their box. So he didn't. And that's kind of what led to the chance. But I don't mind it, frankly. I really don't. Save your sprinting if you're ever going to do it for your own box. As Mikey Moore beats his man again, tries to play a ball into Rishi, but isn't able, and Spurs get a throw high up. Hindle Walker says, Archie Gray, pride of North Yorkshire. Altair says, are we going to rue lack of clear-cut chances despite all the pressure come the end of the game? Well, maybe. I think Spurs will get tired in the second half, but I think also the amount that we're moving Elfsborg about and they're having to do a lot of running, I think they'll be tired in the second half as well. Archie Gray now finds Mickey van der Ven, who goes early to Davis. He gives it to Son, and Davis runs outside. And this is a chance for Son to maybe get it on his right foot. No, he doesn't. Gives it back to Davis. Bentancur shows for Ben and gets it off him. And goes backwards to Van der Ven, who goes easily back across his own halfway line to Archie Gray, who finds Van der Ven again. Marcus Reed Thomas asks, how much would I value Archie Gray and Mikey Moore at? Well, I think Archie Gray has proven that the 40-odd million pounds we spent on him is going to be chicken feed. And if Mikey Moore plays more on the right-hand side, as he plays a bad ball there, commentators curse, then I think people will start to see very quickly what a talent he is. He is, for me, a lot more comfortable on the right-hand side. Of course, this is not a Premier League game, so Premier League defenders will try and bash him and batter him, even on the right. But whenever I've seen him on the left, like when he started against Crystal Palace, he's just made another bad touch there. Is he tiring a bit here, Mikey Moore? I hope not, as Elfsborg play the ball down the line. Oh, well done, Pape Matar wins it back for Spurs. Good stuff. But yeah, Mikey Moore, when he played on the left against Palace away, I remember in his first Premier League start, and just against Tamworth as well on the left, it just seemed a bit easy to defend against. Ben Davis finds Son Heung-min. So I think Moore, Moore's not going anywhere for a long time, so we don't need to worry about valuation, but he's a talent, that's for sure. But Nwaneri, at Arsenal is ripping it up at the moment. He's only 17. Son on the left now. He's fronted by two players there, Son. He tried a nutmeg pass, and Elfsborg just clearing it, but they cannot get out of their half. And I guess it's 42 minutes, so they'll be pretty happy with how it's going at the moment. 0-0. Doug Hill saying lots of our passes are hopeful, and that's because there are not many spaces. No, they're playing a proper 5-4-1 at the moment, Elfsborg. Spurs are going to have to be patient. Oh, Pape Sarr gives Bentancur a difficult pass there. And Glenn Hoddle's starting to have a go at Spurs, which he likes to do on co-commentary. Mikey Moore again, though. He plays Porro in down the right. He gets a good cross in there, and that's cleared out for another corner. Another chance for Sonny to whip one in. Okay, a little bit of news on Tell. Man United remain active in the race for Mathias Tell and have held new talks with his agent today. Spurs have a verbal agreement in place with Bayern for a permanent deal, but still need the approval of the player to complete the deal. That's according to Plettigol in Germany, who is a reputable source on all German-based transfers. Anyway, short corner taken. Back to Son, who's running at his man again. Oh, plays a good ball into Mikey Moore, who tried to get to the byline and unfortunately can't keep the ball under control. But I like the confidence from the boy. Goals being scored in the Europa League. Spurs up to 6th, though, because of the goals that have been scored as it stands. I doubt there'll be much added time here. So we're into the 44th minute. So we're probably coming up to halftime. 2,000 of you watching this at the moment, guys. Thank you so much for your support. If you haven't already and you're on YouTube, please do press that like button and do subscribe to Chris's channel at Chris Cowlin if you're not already. Also, you'll see my YouTube channel bottom left there at Barnaby Slater _. Give me a subscribe. I'm nearly at 15,000 subscribers, guys. If you're not a subscriber and you like transfer rumours videos, always starting, of course, with Tottenham during the transfer window, come and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing a big transfer video first thing tomorrow morning, all about the Mathias Tell situation, as well as some rumours that we might be in for Fikayo Tomori from AC Milan, the ex-Chelsea player, and a few others. Obviously, the Tyler Dibbling possibility is still active. Sonny now on the left-hand side into the last minute or so of the half, I would have thought. Goes back to Van der Ven and to Archie Gray, who was going to look for Mikey Moore, and he does now. Moore comes back to Bentancur, who goes to Van der Ven and Bergvall. Glenn Hoddle saying how Spurs don't have anyone or haven't had anyone on the pitch who's given a killer pass. There is only one added minute of time. in the first half. And Spurs is 2 players who can. Sonny doing well here, but his touch is heavy as he drives into the box. In terms of creativity, Spurs is 2 most creative players centrally. Neither are available at the moment. Well, Decky's on the bench, but Maddison obviously picked up an injury, didn't he? And isn't available. That's going to be half-time soon. 25 seconds left. Sonny is working very hard to try and make this happen for Spurs at the moment. Gardu says, this is fine. It's been a while since these players have had the peace to feel the ball for long spells and work on problem-solving deep lines. Let them probe, settle their combo rhythms. I agree. Doug Hill says Son will be tired after 60 minutes. I think they all will, probably. Berg will just... Richarlison pressing their keeper, who goes long. Archie Gray heads the first one. Sarr is up for the next header, and Sarr does well. Gives it to Porro, but that will be half-time, I would have thought. And it is. So at half-time, you'd have to say Elfsborg will be very happy with that, but I think Tottenham will kind of be pleased to not be in a game of basketball for the first time in quite a long time. It feels a little bit calmer. Obviously, there is a big danger, isn't there? You know, there could be a transition at any point, and there will be danger, and Spurs will tire in the second half. But as I've said, I think Spurs have moved Elfsborg around a lot, so I'm hopeful that that they will tire as well, Elfsborg. Not a lot to shout about or to even talk about in that first half. But one of the things, certainly early in that game, the first kind of 15, 20 minutes, Mikey Moore was very exciting. In the first minute, he beat 2 players and got a great cross in and nearly fell to Richarlison. And we nearly scored, but couldn't quite get a finish on it. 5th minute, Porro's cross nearly found Richarlison as well. It kind of hit the top of Rishi's head and went wide. I like the look of that, getting Porro into that inverted half space and getting crosses in, knowing that Richarlison is always going to be sniffing about for an opportunity. 6th minute, more brilliance from Mikey Moore, excuse the pun. Beat 2 men and drove into the box. Nothing came from it, but exciting stuff. Reminds me a little bit of a Paul Gascoigne light, because Gascoigne had a lot more kind of body strength about him. But Gascoigne was my idol when I was growing up, and Mikey Moore has that little bit of something about him. Wants to beat players, wants to drive towards the box. 9th minute, good corner from Sonny, nearly headed in at the near post from Ben Davis. We've got, when we've got set pieces, when we've got corners, we've got Mikey Moore standing in front of the keeper, not allowing the keeper to come for it. And Sonny, a couple of occasions, got some really good whip on that ball, whipping in towards the keeper. And Ben Davis maybe should have got a bit of a better connection on it, but the keeper did get 2 fists to it in the end. Then in the 13th minute, good stuff down the left between Davis and Son led to a corner. It was a good 1-2, and the corner was great and nearly led to a goal as well. Our set pieces have been better today so far. 17th minute, Moore drove forward again. A little 1-2 with Richarlison, didn't come off. 19th minute, beautiful first-time ball from Mikey Moore around the corner to Porro, who had a chance to get a good cross in from the byline, but it was a poor one, unfortunately. 20th minute, the one time in the half where Son has cut in from the left onto his right foot and tried to whip a ball towards the far post, and it was only just over Richarlison's head. Sonny has been driving a lot at his fullback, beating him on the outside, and he's pretty much beaten him every single time. But every so often, I think that right-footed in-swinging cross with Richarlison kind of making that run across the keeper could cause them more problems. So I'd be tempted to do that a little more if I was Sonny. 22nd minute, Son beat 3 men on the left, got to the byline, and the cross found Pedro Porro, but he couldn't get enough pace on it. And it went straight into the keeper's arms. Just Alistair Gold tweeting saying, Pat Matsar walking off the pitch very gingerly at half-time. Postecoglou, of course, did say during the week that Sarr has been carrying a knock. I don't think Sarr, again, is having a great game. He's not as bad as he was against Leicester when he got the hook at half-time, but I think he is clearly carrying something, and I would be taking him off. But I guess having him on has allowed Kulusevski to have a bit of a rest, so I don't know. What would you do? I wonder if he could be tempted to bring Mikey Moore a bit more central. I don't know. Probably not. I guess not. Let's see what happens. 24th minute, Van der Ven, I've just made a note, started really well, very strong, using his body a lot to win the ball back for Spurs, not letting Elfsborg escape. Some good stuff on the half turn from Lucas Bergvall as well, but he did try an outside of the boot ball, bit of a paradise ball, and Ange Postecoglou kind of screamed at him for that because it was poor. For me, Bergvall is at his best when he's doing things simply. When he does things simple, he really brings other players into the game much quicker. And then when the space opens up for him, often later in the game, he really drives into that space well. So I'd like to see Bergvall doing things a bit more simply as well. 26th minute, almost one of my favourite bits of play from the first half. Tottenham were hit on the transition a little bit, one of the few times by Elfsborg, and Richarlison worked his nuts off to go all the way almost to his own 18-yard box and broke up that transition. Really good stuff, and the fans in the stadium really appreciated that. 29th minute, beautiful ball over the top to Sonny from Van der Ven, just chipped over. Sonny made it just as it reached the byline and volleyed across really hard. Richarlison making that run across the near post, but the defender did clear it well. 30th minute, long shot from Porro from about 40 yards, well over the bar. 32nd minute, great stuff from Son down the left again. The ball deflected to Shah, and this was our best chance of the half. Got his left foot on it, but didn't really get hold of it. And even though it beats the keeper just to his left, there's a defender there helping him out, clears it off the line. 34th minute, just made a note that Elfsborg can't get the ball out of their third. They can't get out of their third, but they have so many bodies back that Tottenham unable to break them apart. 35th minute, Rishi shot over the bar, trying to bend it into the far corner from that kind of inside left position. Unfortunately, he didn't get his head up and see that Mikey Maud made a good late run into the back post. And actually, if Richarlison had maybe got his head up and seen that, he could have just easily laid him in to score. 38th minute, good stuff again from Son getting to the byline, cuts it back to Moore. This was actually a great save from the keeper because Moore got his right foot on it. Good connection, and it's going into the top left-hand corner, but the keeper instinctively gets a big hand to it and gets it over the bar. And then that transition, actually, and this is the last kind of action from in the first half, in about the 39th minute, that transition led to some really good one-on-one defending from Archie Gray, who made sure to show the Elfsborg player on the outside. And he got a block on the cross that hit the Elfsborg player and then went out for a goal kick. Once again, guys, this is the itinerary for the rest of tonight. I will continue to do the watch-along in the second half. Then straight after the watch-along, I'll be doing an instant match reaction video for you guys. After which there will be the fan call-in show, where I'll be speaking to Tottenham fans from all over the world about their feelings on this game, as well as the transfer window so far, and what they think about the next week, which is going to be huge, of course. Brentford at the weekend in the league, away. Brentford have a great record at the G-Tech Stadium. And then the Liverpool second leg at Anfield next Wednesday, I believe it is. So very big week for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I'll be talking about that with fans during the fan show. And then at about 11 o'clock, Chris Cowlin will be back with the Spurs Chat podcast, where he'll be joined by Gareth McGuinness, Dustin Lau, and Matt Fielder. If you'd like to appear on the fan show and future episodes, guys, just email tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. That's tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. And Chris will sort that out so you can speak to me after one of the games. And we can talk about that. Okay, guys, let's get into the comments. Patch Thomas, did you see what happened when they manufactured a timeout? Yeah, it was classic Arteta ball, wasn't it? Arteta and Arsenal, they do that after about 20 minutes of every game. It really pisses me off, to be quite honest. And it pisses me off enough as much that they do it as it does that Tottenham just are a little, and this is one of Ange's things. I don't mind this, I guess, but I don't like it when we're not winning. So I blame little things, but Ange is such a purist that he would never do that. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't like to complain about referees too much. He doesn't like to look for excuses. And he doesn't want to do any of this modern stuff on the pitch, like, you know, manufacturing, timeout so that the players can huddle around their manager. 3D3N says, why is Ben at left back instead of Archie? Well, for me, it's because of the balance that Archie Gray brings, having a right foot on the right-hand side of the two centre-backs, and that has worked so far. Obviously, that will probably change because Ange, I think, will bring Mickey van der Ven off at half-time. And I would say, I think we will be poorer for it. Van der Ven has been so good at recycling the ball and winning the ball back for Spurs. And I'm sure Dragusin will come on and we will automatically... What will happen? I wonder if Dragusin will come on and then Ben Davis might move to the left centre-back role, with Archie Gray moving to that left-back role, because obviously Dragusin's far less comfortable on the ball. Let me know what you think in the comments, though. Jim Spur 81, he's not happy with how this game's going. He says, get Levy out, get Ange out. I want our club back. Very angry man on Twitter there. Rubayet saying, Jawad, thank you, says you're doing an excellent job. Really like your presentation and way of talking. And subscribe to your channel and follow you on a regular basis. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. And like I said, I'm getting close to 15,000 subscribers, guys. Only about 100 or so away. Sorry, only about 1,000 or so away. I'm getting close to 14,000 subscribers. So if you could help me get up there, if you're not already a subscriber to my channel, go to @BarnabySlater_ and give me a little subscribe. Samwise says, I think Spurs are a good side, but being comfortable in the Championship is a reality Spurs fans will have to get used to. Oh, thank you, Samwise. Thank you for your engagement. Really appreciate it. Dark Beast says Spurs' issue will be that there's quite a few players that will need to be subbed to get a rest, but not a lot of non-youth options off the bench. I completely agree. I'm sure that's what Elfsborg are really hoping for. There'll be, I think, far more opportunities for them to hit us on the transition in that second half, and we will tire. So the fact that we haven't got a goal or two in the first half may be something that we struggle with second half. Patch Thomas again says the half-court press became a third-court press, and then says that they are outthinking us. I think they've just come with a plan, and Spurs don't really have the players in terms of creativity on the pitch to deal with it at the moment in terms of breaking through their deep block. Ronnie, thank you for your comments. Says Sonny, 10 out of 11 dribbles success. Yeah, he's been really good so far, Sonny. Scribble Scrabble says front three not doing great. Moore not having a good game and Rishi too slow to the ball. Sonny's hit a few great balls and no one seems to be on the end of them. I thought Moore had a really good first 15, 20 minutes, actually. I disagree with that. But then he has looked a bit tired and leggy after that. Let's see what happens. Mavis123, thank you for your kind comment. I really appreciate it. Jim Spur 81 says, oh, sorry, I've done the wrong one there. Says Jim Spur 81 says, it's like a morgue, Barney. I remember jumping on you at Stoke under Poch. Good old days. Yeah, that was an amazing 4-0 win at Stoke. That was the first time, actually, that was in the kind of season where we were battling with Leicester when we went 4-0 and won at Stoke. I assume it was that one rather than the season after anyway. I was like, oh, actually, we could do this. We could do this. James Bondi says, I've gained another subscriber. I appreciate that, mate. Really appreciate it. Coke Can says, good evening, Barnaby. Hello, mate. Jack Legros says, massive improvement needed second half. Well, are you confident that we'll get that improvement when, like one of the other commenters said, we're going to have to take a lot of players off, starting with Van der Ven, and going to have to use our subs bench. It will get more bitty in the second half, I think. Paul in, thank you, mate. Says, excellent work, Barnaby. You're great at this. A really balanced, thoughtful presentation style. Well, thoughtful at the moment, but when it inevitably goes to shit, will I be thoughtful then? I hope I can be. Daniel Friedman Brown says, so exhausting watching the boys play around the back and not generate anything. Whenever teams go into a low block, we look completely stagnant unless Son dribbles at the right back. Yeah, and I've got to be honest, mate, it's very difficult for most teams to break deep blocks, but Spurs are particularly bad at it, and we don't have either of our creative 10s at the moment on the pitch. So, yeah, not a huge surprise at the moment. Charles Cox, interesting comment, actually. Looks like the players, have almost been instructed to conserve energy. Just need to get that goal so that we can truly relax. Would you relax if we got a goal, though, Charles? I wouldn't. Remember what happened against Leicester. Jack Legras says, Barnaby is ready to explode again if this continues. No, I'm pretty calm with how it is at the moment. I think both teams will get tired in the second half, and it may become more like a basketball game. But let's see what happens. As it stands, I think I've got a TV behind my TV, trying to keep an eye on the league table. But as it stood, last I looked at it, we were kind of 6th in that league table, weren't we? So it's looking all right at the moment. Emma Zoe Saunders, thank you so much for your comment, Emma. She says, I have faith we can win this. Fingers, toes, and everything else that can be crossed. Great show. Oh, Emma, I really appreciate that. Thank you all so much for your kind comments. Rubayet says, hi, Barnaby, any latest updates on Matthias Tell from Bayern? Just the latest that Manchester United are still in the hunt for him, and nothing is definite at the moment. I mean, like I said at the beginning, my fear is that once again Tottenham will do all the running and then be gazumped at the last minute, and that Tell is waiting to see what offers he gets. But there's a little part of me letting myself believe, which is probably the big mistake I'm making. But let's see what happens. Luigi Malfoni says, are you all serious? 83% control, the goals will come. Half empty glass. What's wrong with you all? We have full control. Yeah, I think what's wrong with us all is that we're Tottenham Hotspur fans and we know how this goes. So let's see what happens. I hope we do get a win. I really do. Jude says, Tell isn't coming. This is typical Spurs, giving the impression they're doing transfer business. Well, I did say on a video on my channel earlier this week that I've seen this too many times with the likes of Willian, even back in the day, Morientes, Bastoni more recently, and Dybala. And then what inevitably happens is on the last day, we get a loan in like Fraser Campbell. Do you remember that when we lost Berbatov? And we got Fraser Campbell from Man United on the loan, who was just like a kid, who's so raw. So I do fear that. I really do fear that. And unfortunately, the experience of being a Spurs fan under Daniel Levy does tell you that that is likely. But for some reason, there are some accounts suggesting that it's very possible that Tell will come to Spurs. Yes, Spurs 6th in the league table at the moment. Level on points with the two teams in 7th and 8th, and Rangers and then one other team in 9th and 10th are on 14 points. And we are 1 point behind Leon, we're level on points with Leon, and Man United are 1 point ahead of us. I mean, if we got a goal right now, we would jump up to 3rd in that league table. But yeah, that would be pretty hopeful, as Elfsborg are in the tunnel, getting ready to come out. Duncan Tweed, thank you for your comments. I can't understand the negative comments here. Sounds like we've been completely dominant. Obviously, actually putting one in the net would help. Yeah, I think, listen, it's just a very difficult time at the moment, so it's hard to be glass half full, but let's see what happens. Randint says, what's your thoughts on Sarr? He's been running and looks tired. Crosses have been good, but can't be something. Yeah, not sure. Yeah, here's a good point from TSOM. Bayern Munich still owes for Kane, so Tell could happen to clear the debt. I think Bayern Munich will be pushing hard for Tell to go to Spurs. That would suit them more in terms of clearing the installments that Tottenham are still likely to be paid or owed to be paid on the Harry Kane deal. That's where I think Tottenham are in the lead. Also, the fact that Tottenham are looking to get a permanent deal done, so want to give Bayern a lot of money, whereas I think the other clubs are looking to get a loan deal done first. I mean, who really knows? It's kind of like reading between the lines, isn't it? We don't know anything for sure, but listen, this is where one of the big problem about being 15th in the league is. If we were having a decent season and we were up like last year in kind of 5th, 6th, 7th, then you could see Tell coming. And one of the things we've got going for us, I think, is that, you can say to Tell, you pretty much be a first team player. You'd be one of the first names on the team sheet, and you can really grow your career here. Whereas at Chelsea, they've got so many forwards. Even Arsenal, he's less likely to be guaranteed a spot. Although obviously their fans don't love Martinelli at the moment. So I do think we've got some possibilities, but it would not surprise me at all if we hear that Spurs, like I said, do all the running for the transfer, and then he just goes somewhere else at the end. So there are some substitutions. Bissouma coming on, Dragusin coming on, and Kulusevski. So I wonder who Decky is coming on for. It might be Mikey Moore, No, Bentancur off. It must be Van de Ven. And who's the third one going to be for? Sonny. So Bissouma, Kulusevski, and Dragusin. On for Bentancur, Van de Ven, and Son. So legs, but Van de Ven and Son have been our best players in the first half, and that's what I was saying during half time. I don't think we'll be under quite as much control second half. Scribble Scrabble says, heard rumours Ollie Watkins going to Arsenal. I think he'd like to, and Arsenal would like him too, but I can't see Aston Villa selling both their strikers. That would be mental. Okay. I thought Van de Ven, by the way, just so excellent in that first half, and I'm pretty happy that he's going off. Good 45 minutes, showed his strength, and get him off, get him in cotton wool, get him iced, get him in the ice bath, and then in a hot tub. Anyway, so Dragusin is now playing on the right-hand side. Archie Gray of the two centre-backs. Archie Gray on the left. Ben Davis keeping his place at left-back. Bissouma, obviously. Oh, I tell you what, he just played a lovely diag. And Moore is on the left now, I think. Yeah, Moore on the left. So Decky Kulusevski on the right, and Moore just won a corner on the left-hand side, trying to take his man on. So Moore is going to take the corner himself. Who's going to be blocking the keeper like he was in the first half? It's a good delivery from Moore, or Richarlison nearly got on the end of it, and Elfsborg managed to clear. To Archie Gray, who will touch it, I'm sure, to Bissouma, and he does so. Scribble Scrabble says, we need a good game from Bissouma, and I agree. He says, we're due one. I agree. As Kulusevski loses the ball out on the left and gives away a foul. Obviously, players we desperately we can't have getting injured. Decky Kulusevski would be top of the list, I'd say. I do miss Decky playing centrally, though. I really do. I like him out wide. He can get great crosses in, of course. But, yeah, I miss him in that kind of 8-10 role that he was playing at the beginning of the season. And we miss the creativity from that for sure. As Elfsborg whack their free kick long. Bissouma out jumped. And Dragoshin gives a bit of a dodgy ball back to Austin, who is pressed this time. And plays a bit of a dicky ball to Porro. But Porro does well and lays it across to Archie Gray, who lays it out wide to Ben Davis, who drives in narrow. I don't mind that. And he tries the ball over the top, but that wasn't great. And the fullback, he tried a bit of a paradise crossfield ball to Kulusevski, and it was not enough on it, and easily chested back to the keeper. Samwise says, I thought Van der Ven was good, but it was risky playing him given his dodgy leg. So, well, as Anne said this week, we're going to have to play him at some point. And he did great. Kulusevski gets in the way of a ball, and then Porro puts him in down the right-hand side. It's being chased hard. He uses his strength beautifully there, Kulusevski. Cuts the ball back. Tried to find Mikey Moore, but it's cleared. And then Bissouma with a heavy touch in midfield. Wins the second one, though. Gives it to Bissouma back, Kulusevski, who lays in Pedro Porro now. And a chance for a cross for Porro. And it's a good cross, but it's cleared at the front man. And Kulusevski's in the box and is going to get a touch on that, but his first touch is poor. He's a bit cold. Bissouma wins it back, though. And gets it to Sarr. He threatens to shoot, but doesn't. And then gets the ball across to Ben Davis. He will shoot Ben Davis. It's a good strike. Straight down the keeper's throat. Theo Smith says, love the channel. Appreciate that. Dave Bauman says, Van der Ven is clearly playing versus Liverpool, so I had to get minutes today. They just showed a little clip. I didn't see enough of it, of all the Spurs players sitting behind the bench who are injured, and there are a lot of them. Terrible touch from Pape Matar, who I think still looks injured, and as a result, Elfsborg on the transition. They're running lots of players forward. They're in down the left, as ever, behind Porro here. And Bissouma gets a head on the first cross, and that's good, and comes to Kulusevski, who will be fouled here, and is. He looks to take the foul quickly, and it's a rolling ball, and he knows that's going to get called back. And now Bissouma takes the free kick to Archie Gray. Gray plays it out wide to Davis, who goes down the line to Lucas Bergvall. Mikey Moore made a little outside to in run for him there, but he doesn't look for him. It comes across to Dragoshin now. He plays it out wide to Kulusevski. Comes inside narrow back to Bissouma. And it comes to Porro now on the right. Oh, lovely little run from Sarr into the box. Tries the back flick to Kulusevski, and maybe he would have just done better to hold it. But it was a good run, and now Spurs pressing. And it's a throw-in. "50 minutes gone. The second half has started as the first half did. Throwing down the line from Elfsborg. Bergvall gets it back to Dragoshin, who just clears that one up towards Rishi. Wonder how many minutes Rishi will get realistically as he wins it back for Spurs well. Comes to Porro. Goes inside to Bissouma, puts his foot on it and turns away to Archie Gray. The Yido66 has great commentary. Appreciate that, guys. Anybody enjoying this commentary, please do go to my channel and subscribe at Barnaby Slater _. Mikey Moore on the left, looking to take his man on, but goes back inside, and Spurs bring it back into Radu Dragoshin. Plays it wide to Porro. And Kulusevski went inside for him. Porro tried to find him, but it's cut out. And then Kulusevski presses Elfsborg and then makes them go back, and then he fouls them, unfortunately. But that's always going to happen with the pressing game, and Elfsborg take a little breather. Glenn Hoddle, on co-commentary, suggesting it'll get tougher for Elfsborg this second half because they've played so little football. For those of you who don't know, Elfsborg the Swedish league isn't on at the moment. And Elfsborg have only played 3 Europa League games since November, but is that going to benefit them, or is it going to benefit, will it be worse for Spurs having played, I think, 18 games in that period? I believe the stat is. Elfsborg now, the left winger turns Porro so easily. And they're in a good position here down the left here, Elfsborg. He's got a runner with him, and then he crosses. Chance, big chance, Elfsborg. Oh my God. It deflected just 5 yards out, and the defender had an overhead kick. And I have to say, not every, but so many chances that Tottenham have against them come behind Pedro Porro. And in the end, I have to say, Austin put the striker under pressure, did enough. Dragishin out wide to Deki, puts his foot on it, goes inside to Bissouma, comes back to Kulusevski. Zosso Army says, will we see Gray in midfield versus Liverpool with Van der Ven, Dragishin and Spence all available? Well, he hasn't played in midfield yet for Spurs, has he? So I'm not sure. Not sure about that. Bergvall, bit of a heavy touch. Tries to find Mikey Moore with a bit of an odd flick, and it's a throw-in. Doug Hill says Porro's not really a fullback. No, he's more of a wing-back. That's true. That's definitely true. And actually, I've been thinking about this a little bit. If and when Ange does leave Spurs, I do wonder whether the next manager might not trust Porro as a fullback if he is a manager who's going to play a 4. If it's a manager who plays a 3 at the back, obviously, I think Porro will be fine because I want a wing-back. But Dave Bauman says, Van der Ven goes off, we nearly concede 7 minutes later. Typical. Yeah, Van der Ven was excellent. Anyway, the fans trying to get behind Spurs now as Dragishin finds Porro, who plays an interesting ball towards Sarr in the channel, who's working hard, but the defender gets ahead of him and clears it. And Dragishin gets his body in a good position. Spurs still in 6th in the table as it stands, as Bissouma finds Porro out wide, who goes for an early cross this time. It's a great cross. Cleared. I don't mind that from Porro at all. And chance in the box here for Rishi. So many bodies in the box, though. Anyway, Spurs. Oh, Bergvall does really well there. Stopped to transition with a slide tackle there, Bergvall. Anyway, now Elfsborg looking for a way to clear this ball as Kulusevski presses them out wide. And Sarr does brilliantly. Wins the ball back. He needs an option here, Pape Matar. So he goes back to Porro. But as ever, Elfsborg have all their men behind the ball. Comes to Ben Davis now. He's going to look to find Mikey Moore, is he? And he does, finds him. Now, Mikey Moore has a chance to come onto his right foot here and maybe do a cross. No, he's going to go down the line. And he tries to just dink a little cross in. And it's easily cleared by Elfsborg. And Bergvall gets a foot in and it goes out for a goal kick. Doug Hill agrees. Still so many bodies back for Elfsborg. Yeah. Bin Pan says, why take Son off? I think give him a rest, basically. Got 2 huge games coming up. Daryl Norman, good point. This Matthias Tell deal sounds like the Luis Diaz one all over again. Yeah. I mean, the good news about the Luis Diaz deal was that we ended up getting Kulusevski and Bentancur. But yeah, I kind of agree with you, actually. Elfsborg with the goal kick. They go long again. No interest in playing it around at the back, Elfsborg, and you can see why. I think what Elfsborg are going to be looking to do is, like I said earlier, stay in the game until the last 10, 20 minutes. Try and make it dodgy for Spurs. If they can't get a sneaky goal before then, try and make it dodgy for Spurs last 10, 20 minutes as they get tired and try and sneak something then. If they play a ball into the strike, who flicks it on, but it comes through to Austin. Aquib Khan says, time will tell. Very good. Dave Bauman, is Tell waiting on the outcome of our result tonight? No, I doubt that has much to do with it. Rangers now up to 9th in the league table, with Spurs down to 7th, because I believe that's Bodo Glimt who have gone up to 6th. Kulusevski plays the ball across to Archie Gray. Bissouma now inside to Pape Matar. To Porro. Again, Glenn Hoddle on co-commentary complaining about the lack of creativity. What do you expect? Both of our players, our most creative players, weren't available in the first half. Kulusevski's on the pitch now, but he has to play on the right. I would like to see him more in the 10 role. But... Corner for Spurs, though. It's going to be an in-swinger, is it? I couldn't see it. Here it comes. Near post. Oh, Bergvall nearly flicked it on at the near post. It was a great corner from Mikey Moore. He's going to have a chance to get another cross in on his right foot. Again, cleared by Elfsborg. Mikey Moore, one of the most genuine two-footed players I've seen. I really like him. Anyway, comes to Kulusevski. He's going to try and put a deep cross in, but he finds Porro. He's driving at the box now. Oh, and he can... Porro, beautiful play. Cuts it back. Chance! Oh, Bergvall with the diving header. And a good save from the keeper. That was good stuff from Pedro Porro. Really good. Richarlison's still on the pitch after 60 minutes, of course, and he is only fresh back from an injury himself. He will want to stay on, but I think we have to be careful with him. I'd be tempted at some point soon for Ange to bring Will Lancashire on, or put Kulusevski on as a false 9, maybe. But Rishi is still working hard as Elfsborg clear it long again. Over the top, and Dragoshin lets it bounce. And that goes off for an Elfsborg throw. I don't know why he let that bounce. Elfsborg are going to wait for their man to come and do the long throw. Tottenham not brilliant at defending set pieces this season. I think it's fair to say. It's going to be a long throw. Austin pushing Dragoshin around. Well, they've got a man who they're looking to throw it to at the near post. He's being marked by Pedro Porro, who must be the smallest player on the pitch, pretty much. So what is that all about? Why are they... It's obviously going to go there. And there it comes, but it's cleared by Rishi. Chance outside the box. No, he takes a touch on it and goes backwards to their own halfway line, Elfsborg. And they're going to go all the way back to their keeper. And Rishi's pressing him. Good stuff from Rishi. And they go long. Oh, it's a good ball from the keeper, wide right. But Ben Davies gets his body in a good position. And does really well to find Archie Gray, who goes across to Brandon Austin. That's good from Spurs. He's going to go to Dragoshin. Aquib Khan says, what kind of celebration we think if we get a goal here? Klinsmann dive in the front room. Porro tries a big ball over the top to Richarlison. And it's cleared from the defender, but that was a good thinking from Porro. And that comes to a throw-in. Spurs still in 7th in that league place. They've just dropped down 7th behind Bodo Glimt. Godfrey Drummond says, Lancashire or Scarlet for Rishi. Jack Legros says, surely we can beat this opposition. Well, they're playing 11 at the back, basically. It's not easy. And Spurs lacking a bit of creativity. Ben Davies feinted to go out wide to Mikey Moore then, but it comes back instead to Gray. Into Bissouma. We're going to need a bit more from Bissouma, I think. Like, yes, we need him to work well in front of the back four, but also to make some runs to pull them around. Comes to Porro again out wide right. Comes back to Sarr. Dragoshin and now Archie Gray. And he will look for Mikey Moore on the left. Defender gets close to him. And Gray gets it stuck under his... Moore gets it stuck under his feet a bit, but now he's driving down the left, Mikey Moore. Just runs it out of play again. That's happened a few times. Yeah, I don't love Moore, like I said in the first half, on the left-hand side quite as much. Anyway, as Elfsborg go for the long ball, Dragoshin lets it bounce again, and then playing himself into trouble there, has to kick it off. Just don't let it bounce, Dragoshin. Oh, now he's gone down with a knee injury here, Dragoshin. Yeah, this isn't good because Dragoshin kind of went down holding his knee off the ball here, really. And he can't straighten it. Oh my God, here we go again. So they're just showing it's by the touchline. He just tries an awkward stretch off. And he's got his knee, he's got his studs caught in the ground. It was very difficult and really tweaks his knee. This is not good. How many fucking injuries can this club get? It's completely ridiculous. And they've let Alfie Dorrington go on loan. Oh my God. Honestly. Dave Bauman says 1 in, 1 out. It's us. APEC20 says we're a ticking time bomb. Alan Marshall, yeah. Dorrington out on loan too. Jack Lugos, what an absolute mess this club is in. Absolutely unacceptable. Doug Hill probably out for a month. I think they've got to take him off here because he's testing for an ACL. He's obviously tweaked it. Don't take any risks on him. Get him off the pitch. Will Lancashire warming up. Can he do a job at centre back? What would happen? I guess Ben Davis would have to move into centre back and someone would have to go left back. Obviously, Spence is not available. Reguilon not available tonight. Kinski, the keeper, not available. We've just got a bench of kids who are warming up. James 2S says, you can't blame Ange for that injury. No, I don't. I don't blame Ange for it. Don't let him carry on, physio, honestly. Don't let him carry on. He's obviously really sore. Just say no. Don't let him carry on. What are you doing? This is going to be stupid. Oh, they're in. Oh, I'll tell you what. Huge interception from Yves Bissouma. And it would have been offside anyway, but that was good defending from Bissouma. Postecoglou pushing Dragishin back onto the pitch. This winds me up about Postecoglou so much. We've seen how this never works for us, and the players are just then always out for months. He knows he can't play, and he's had to go straight down on the ground. Stop pushing him out onto the pitch. He's now sat on his arse. He's done something serious. I'm glad he didn't try to do any more. Nange is now having a scrap with the fourth official. So it's Dane Scarlett coming on. They're just showing a replay of it. I mean, Dragishin shouldn't have let the ball bounce in the first place. Gets himself in trouble, and then in a really awkward position, and then his studs get caught in the ground as he stretches. And yeah, just Hoffenheim 4-1 up at Anderlecht. You wouldn't expect that, would you? Anyway, Dragishin going off now can only hope that it's not too bad. So Scarlett now on 65th minute. What are they going to do with the shape? Are they going 3-5-2? So Archie Gray is with Ben Davis now at centre back. Porro on the right. Sarr has gone left back. Scarlett up front with Richarlison on the left. I'll tell you what, if I'm Will Lancashire, I'm absolutely livid, I have to say. Anyway, Bissouma to Sarr. Out wide to Richarlison, who obviously, he's only just back from injury himself. Into Bergvall. To Porro. Goes out wide to Mikey Moore. God, what an absolute mishmash. of a team we are right now. Ange's cough medicine says this club is cursed. Cross comes in. Oh, and Richarlison was pushed at the back post there. And the ref doesn't give it. What a brilliant cross that was, though. Comes to Sarr now. Lays it back to Bissouma. Ben Davis to Bergvall. Porro. That was good stuff from Spurs. Bergvall now. Davis to Bissouma. To Sarr. He finds Richarlison on the left-hand side. Faced with two men, so he has to go back to Sarr. Bissouma gives him a little run, sorry. And it goes to Bergvall. He lets it run under his feet accidentally. So Archie Gray has to help him out. Goes to Mikey Moore. Drives inside. Good stuff from Moore. Plays a good ball into Dane Scarlett's feet, who nearly finds Kulusevski. Good stuff from Scarlett. Cross into the box. Kulusevski at the near post. Momentarily, the tempo has gone up a little bit here. Bergvall is on the right-hand side. Goes inside to Bissouma. He's got Sarr outside him. Finds Sarr, and Rishi is outside him. But poor first touch from Sarr means he has to come back narrow to Archie Gray. And Porro manages to lose the ball and goes out for a throw-in. Samwise says you might need a digestive after this game, Barnaby. Nathan Cooper, stop moaning, mate, and let them play. They're doing their best. Am I really moaning that much? Don't think I am, mate. Are you all right? Or maybe you're talking to someone else. I don't know. Johnny Barker says a goal is inevitable. Just believe. As their keeper goes long. We're into the 69th minute here. Archie Gray beaten in the air. But it was offside anyway. And actually, the ref could have let that go, and Spurs had advantage. Phil DeRoom. I have full faith in Barnaby's lucky top to get us through, not conceding. And they're just showing the bench again. Spence has got some fucking mad gear on. Solanke's there. Johnson. Roller Polo 66. Hopefully Dane can be the Allen key to unlock the Swedes. Barry Anderson says, you having a laugh. Captain Mannering says, remember Tell is watching this rubbish. Kulusevski has picked up the ball in a good position. Tries to lay in Bergvall. Actually, I think Kulusevski could have taken another touch there. But anyway. Elfsborg try and get on the transition, but Richarlison works hard to get the ball back to Austin. MJ Coy says, funny that Gray is our most reliable centre-half and he's not a centre-half. Yeah. Anyway, Bergvall. I guess the only positive from Dragishin's injury is that it wasn't Van der Ven. Mikey Moore plays it into Porro and gets it back. Mikey Moore now he's towards the byline. Porro is with him. Porro goes to Deki Kulusevski, tries the cross. Scarlett! Goal, Dane Scarlett! You're kidding me! What a brilliant goal! Huge! I'm pleased for that kid. Another academy graduate. And like I said, the tempo had upped. Beautiful cross from the right with the left foot. Who was it? Was it Deki? And he's had difficult loan spells, hasn't he, Dane Scarlett? But clearly Ange rates him ahead of Will Lancashire. Now he joins Lancashire and having scored in the Europa League. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. And giving him a big hand. 20 minutes to go now. So here we go. Mikey Moore had the ball, gives it to Porro. And he does. He lays it to Deki Kulusevski, who tries a left-footed cross. And actually, it's a great run from deep from Dane Scarlett across the near post. Heads it into the bottom right-hand corner. Lovely stuff. And Ange gives it a one hand up. Now, come on, Spurs. We've not been great at keeping leads recently. Tottenham now go up to 7th in the league. It must be more than that. Anyway, Spurs attacking again with Kulusevski getting into the box. Lays it into Mikey Moore. Oh, great shot for Moore. Good save. Oh, another chance might fall to Spurs. Oh. Phil C says floodgates. Not sure about that. Tottenham now up to 5th in the league table. Man United are 2 up, so they're up to 3rd. Lyon 4th. Frankfurt 6th. Bodo Glimt 7th. Olympiacos 8th. Bissouma out to Porro. And I tell you what, I don't want to hex it, but Elfsborg are not changing their style here at all. They don't look like they've maybe got the legs like the Premier League teams do when they go 1-0 behind to us. They're just sitting in. They're hoping to keep it a 1-0 to maybe the 80th, 85th minute and make it difficult at the end. Bissouma out wide to Mikey Moore. And the Spurs fans getting behind the team now. Love it. Ben Davis plays a good ball into Kulusevski, who let it go to Scarlett, and he can't quite get hold of it. And it's thrown to Spurs on the right. James Bondi says, "You beauty, Dane." Yadami Y08 says, I think Ant should invest in one of them long coats that go down to your ankles like Wenger did during the tough times. I think they're called wind cheaters. Phil C says, "Chill, Barnaby." It was great to see, an academy graduate get a goal for Spurs in Europe. Again, love it. Ben Davis, great cross, great diag to Richarlison. Bergvall runs outside him, so Richarlison comes narrow to Kulusevski, who is, I said, haven't I? I said during this game, I'd love to see Kulusevski playing more central, and that is where the goal has come from. Bissouma now turns narrow. Kobe Mainu was the one getting the second goal for United. They're going through top 8 as well at the moment. Mikey Moore runs down the right-hand side. Tries to win a corner, but it's not. It's a goal kick. Aranya Bose MA6 says this means Lancashire will go out on loan and Dane Scarlett will stay. Yeah, I think I read before the game that if Scarlett plays in this game, it means he can't go out on loan again. And not only has he played, but he's got a goal. And I love the fact he wears black boots, old school. That's good striking, getting across the front post and in between the two centre-backs. I love it for Dane Scarlett. I love it for him. Ashtree says, would Dane be on the pitch if Dragusin didn't get injured? No, he wouldn't, but there you go. Doesn't matter. Angus Kaufman says, is Bissouma playing Dragusin's spot? No, Ben Davis has moved into centre-half with Archie Gray. And Richarlison on the floor, but just momentarily. But he's played a lot in this game. We're going to maybe have to get Will Lancashire on for him as well at some point. Sean Ansell says, this is a chill Barnaby, lol. It will be until we get equalised against. Mikey Moore is sometimes clumsy, not so agile. I think he's just, don't forget he had a 2-month illness. I don't think he's quite fully fit, personally. And also, just getting up to speed with proper men's senior football. Anyway, into the 75th minute. I was literally just about to praise Bissouma, and then he slipped in the middle of the pitch, and now Elfsborg getting forward, but Porro does well to come back. Doug Hill asks, will Elfsborg change tactics? Remains to be seen. Nearly 3,000 of you watching now, guys. Thank you so much for your support. Press that like button on YouTube, guys. Make sure you subscribe to Chris Cowlin's YouTube channel. Another academy graduate about to come on for Spurs. This will be, I'm sure, for Richarlison. It's Ajayi who's going to come on, number 63. I don't know anything about the kid. But Elfsborg now playing it along their back line. And now play a big diagonal over the top of Porro. And that's where they know that the problems are. But Porro does well and gets it out for a throw-in. No, I'm not wearing a JVC Arsenal shirt. I'm wearing a Spurs special. Now there's going to be a long throw for Elfsborg, so Richarlison is back in his own box. And again, they're getting their big number 8 to stand near Porro. Here it comes. It's a flat one, but Bissouma does well with the first one. And then Kulusevski is on the break. And Richarlison's trying to get near him. He's on his own, Decky, so you've got to hold it up there. He's not quite able to. Can he get the wrong side of his man? Don't foul him, Decky. It goes back to the keeper. And the keeper clears it. Rishi with a lung-busting run then. And there, Pedro Porro did well there to keep the ball for Spurs on the halfway line. But actually, that lung-busting run in the 75th minute from Rishi, trying to get up with Kulusevski, shows that his hamstring looks in decent shape. And his groin, hopefully, as well. Bissouma now to Porro. Spurs just trying to pop this about and draw Elfsborg out towards them. Sarr. I think it'll benefit him getting minutes in his legs as well, actually. He's got better as the game has gone on, as he finds Bissouma. Goals going in all around Europe now. Spurs still in 5th in the league as the table stands. Yeah, APEC 20, his groin's in decent shape. Yeah, it was absolutely not what you thought it was. Porro now to Bissouma. And Glenn Hoddle on Cocoms is asking Spurs to be patient, and they are being. Lucas Bergvall, he tries another outside of the boot cross. This time it's a bit better, but Elfsborg are able to clear it. But Pedro Porro, he got in a good position, Porro, there, but it kind of went through his legs. But then he wins it back. Tenacious from Porro. Good stuff. Gets the ball back to Archie Gray. Bissouma now to Pedro Porro, to Mikey Moore. Spurs kind of calling for Elfsborg to come and press them, but Elfsborg not interested at the moment in the 77th minute. And the number 14 for Elfsborg was asking his teammates to up it a bit, but Tottenham just popping it about at the moment. But Doug Hill says Elfsborg about to bring on 3 subs. That makes sense. I did say earlier in the game, didn't I? Elfsborg, I think, will try and stay in this game till the last 10 minutes and then hope to play on some nerves. Archie Gray plays it out wide to Pedro Porro. I just prefer Kulusevski centrally so much. Because even when he plays centrally, like he has been since the Dragoshin injury, he can still move out to the right and out to the left. He moves people around. He's got freedom to go anywhere, but he's just so much more of a threat in the central roles. 3,000 of you now watching, guys. Thank you so much for your support. Press that like button and do subscribe to Chris's channel. Also, my channel for daily Tottenham and transfer content at Barnaby Slater _. You can see it in the bottom left-hand corner there on YouTube. I'm nearly at 15,000 subscribers, guys. Help me get up there if you like my warbling. It's really a bit of a training game at the moment. I think Elfsborg are just basically waiting to make those subs, and then they'll up the tempo. So Tottenham able to take a bit of a breather here, which has been pretty rare for Spurs in the last 2 months, I'd say. Deki Kulusevski, pretty much the only Spurs player with Bergvall making runs for the likes of Sarr and Bissouma. Anyway, it comes to Mikey Moore. He comes in narrow, then turns his man, goes to Porro and gets the return ball and beats his man. And now Moore is driving into the box. Finds the ball to the edge for Richarlison, and he looked a bit leggy there. That'll be Richarlison's last bit of action of this half, I would have thought, of this game, I would have thought. He knows he's going off. He had a chance to get a shot away there, but he couldn't. It was more of an air shot, really. So another Spurs Academy graduate, Ajayi. And now come the 3 subs and legs for Elfsborg. Tottenham now up to 4th in the league table. And would still be, I think, 7th if they equalise as it stands. Rangers up to 8th, though. Ahead of Bodo Glimt. Wow. That's good for them. At the moment, Rangers, Man United and Spurs all in the top 8. Angelo Tyro says, Ange is being pragmatic. Get him out. I think there will now be more energy from Elfsborg and more of a desire to go forward, which will be difficult, but also should allow more space for Spurs as Sarr wins the header from the goal kick, but it goes out of play. Spurs still pressing hard, with Scarlett doing it from the front. Ajayi looks like he's playing kind of... Yeah. Glenn Hoddle noticing that Elfsborg have now gone 4 up front, 4 across the forward line, and suggesting that Spurs and Ange have to react to it. Let's see what happens against our very, very makeshift defence. Currently, Elfsborg in 25th place. So the top 24 go through. So Elfsborg need a goal to go through to the next round, to go through to the playoff round as it stands. Porro throws it into Kulusevski. Tries to touch it to Ajayi, but doesn't find him. Bergvall doing well in central midfield and gets a ball out to Sarr, who goes backwards to Ben Davis. And now Elfsborg are starting to press Spurs with a striker. Basuma turns away from him, gets it to Davis, who goes out wide to Bergvall, who's good first touch to Pap Sarr, who has Basuma inside him, but he chooses to miss him out and go to Archie Gray, who goes out wide to Porro, who again having to play all the minutes. And you can see the tiredness in his legs because he just tried a ball down the line and just shanked it straight off the pitch. He puts his hands up to apologise, but he has had to play so many minutes. It's ridiculous. Jack Legros says, Elfsborg absolutely dreadful. Don't hex it, mate. Don't jinx it. As they cut to Daniel Levy, who's looking at his text messages. Oh, Basuma lets the ball bounce in midfield, and it's a handball, fortunately, because it looked like the Elfsborg might have an opportunity to get forward there. Kulusevski complaining to the referee, a little bit in his face. Careful there, Decky. No need to get a booking unnecessarily. 7 minutes to go. And as it stands, I wouldn't expect too much added time other than for the subs and the Dragoshin injury, I guess. Sarr into Bergvall. Spurs still just popping it about at the moment. Basuma now. He's being pressed by a central midfielder, though, so he just plays it back to Davis. Into Decky Kulusevski. He's got space through the middle now. He's looking for help. You might have a dig here, Decky, and he does, and it's blocked. And Sarr picks up the rebound. Spurs dealing with this well at the moment, popping it about. Frankly, it looks like all the teams who have gone one up against us recently who just kind of pop it about and slow the game down. Anyway, Ajayi on the right, driving at his men, beats 2 men, beats 3, goes inside to Scarlett, and Ajayi on the edge of the box. Chance! He scored! What a goal! And what a moment! On his senior debut, he drove at 2 defenders, gets past them, plays it into Dane Scarlett, who lays it back to him and left foots it into the bottom right-hand corner. Amazing. Great stuff from Dane Scarlett. Wow, they're showing it again now. So he's on the touchline. He drives past 2 defenders, 3 in fact, then lays it into Scarlett, taps it back to him, and from 17 yards, great finish, bottom right-hand corner. What a moment for the kid. And Spurs, what a good performance. Patience. Had to bring more kids on. Found a way. Amazing. Oh, and Big Ange, a huge smile for Big Ange Postecoglou. I'm pleased for him, and I'm massively pleased for Ajayi. Angus Koffmed says, good for the young lads. James Thuas says, the kids. LMFAO, Levy rubbing his hands together. Don't need transfers now, probably. MJ Coys, what a great day for Tottenham Hotspur, and therefore the world. Dave B, 2 kids. Angus Koffmed, and love the smiles. Dave Bauman, game over. Now on to Brentford. And Dane Scarlett, you've got to say, has come on and made a difference. That's what happens when players go out on loan and play men's football. There's a difference in the physicality, and he's shown that he can hold it up a bit. And Ajayi does well there and plays it to Porro. Just goes with a big up and under there over the top. And who is it? Mikey Moore wins it. He's on his own, Moore. He's waiting now. Holds it up. Oh, no, he doesn't hold it up. He's driving. He's driving into the box, Mikey Moore. Oh, and then he just unfortunately is blocked off. But Kulusevski helps him out. Spurs actually with a bit more tempo again now. Since the Dragoshin injury, Spurs really upped the tempo and have been much better. Yeah, Alex Panton, you don't win things with kids. Amazing. Archie Gray, back to Brandon Austin. Great. Gives it out wide to Pedro Porro. I'd be tempted to take Porro off now. Oh, but he dinks a lovely ball into Kulusevski. And Ajayi takes it off Kulusevski, and he's now driving through the middle of the pitch. And he nearly slipped over, but he finds Kulusevski on the right. He's now driving into the box. He's going to try and shoot, surely. And he does. And then Scarlett's run was right in front of the keeper. Keeper goes long. That's really good time for Spurs to score a second as well because, you know, oh, and Kulusevski uses his body well there and gets fouled in midfield. But a good time to get the second because, you know, we know Elfsborg will have got the ball forward and tried and made chances or tried to make chances, but Spurs have dominated them today and been patient and deserve this. And this will enable us, for once, not to have to play extra games as the ball comes back to Austin and he's calm and gives it to Basuma, who goes wide to Davis. And some positives today as well. Van der Ven, 45 minutes, looked great. Ben Davis, another 90 minutes in his legs. Richarlison, 75 minutes into his legs. Sad about Dragusin, obviously, and his injury. But, oh, and Bergvall might get booked for that. Bergvall. He's a walking yellow card, Lucas Bergvall. And he knew. Silly yellow card, but he stops the transition, so I don't mind it. Dave Bauman says, keep that clean sheet, boys. Yeah, completely agree. Don't forget, guys, straight after this game, I will be doing an instant match reaction video. And then after that, the post-match fan call-in show where Spurs fans will be calling in to talk about the result and the rest of the transfer windows. Elfsborg have a shot over and out from outside the box. I wonder if this could maybe give us some confidence to go to Brentford with at the weekend. That would be good, wouldn't it? But we'll see what happens. Angie's cough medicine says, Bergvall gives everything to this club. I love him. Austin kicks the ball long. Another clean sheet for Austin at the moment. Let's hope that can keep going. Ajayi does well there. Good lad. Got his foot in and then keeps the ball and gets it back to Archie Gray, who goes to Porro, who Porro dinks it over the top and it's flicked on. And we've got men forward here. Bergvall gives it into Kulusevski in the box, who tries to cut it back. And unfortunately, it's blocked off. And that's a corner to Spurs. Well, looks like maybe Kulusevski was offside anyway. Will we get the corner? Yes, we get the corner. Kulusevski's going to try and whip this in-swinger towards the keeper. Got one arm up. No, yes, he does whip it in. Oh, and Scarlett got up with the keeper. The keeper did well. Basuma collects, goes to Pape Sarr out wide, who just recycles the ball. This has been a lot closer to the kind of performance where Spurs are decent tonight. Just kept calm. Elfsborg haven't been great, though. Let's be honest about that. 4 minutes added as Pape Sarr tries to keep the ball in midfield. Plays a good ball into Scarlett, who plays it well to Basuma. Scarlett's been fouled there. And the good news is that getting in the top 8, of course, means a better seeding for the next round, as well as missing those 2 playoff games. And Tottenham will, for once, have some free weeks in the next month with which to try and remain fit. Mikey Moore on the left now. Comes back to Pape Sarr. Tottenham just knocking it about. Comes all the way to Brandon Austin. And Austin just chips it up towards Scarlett, who's out-jumped pretty easily there. Oh, and actually it's flicked on in midfield, and Elfsborg trying to get a ball forward, but shanks it off the pitch or towards the sideline. And Pape Sarr now just being a bit slightly too clever there, but he finds Ben Davis, who goes long with his clearance down into the channel. I don't mind that at all. And Scarlett gives chase. Finds it back to the keeper, but Scarlett is pressing the keeper. Well done, Dane. He's not the quickest. He's not the biggest, but he scored an absolutely vital goal today, and he got a really great assist as well for Ajayi. Really pleased for the Spurs Academy graduates. Tottenham just Angie's young babes as Austin plays a good ball into Ben Davis, beating the press. Comes to Archie Gray. Out to Pedro Porro, still on the pitch somehow. Plays a good ball down the line to Kulusevski, who's still making those lung-busting runs. Cuts inside now, Decky. Oh, plays it across to Bergvall, who's in loads of space, who puts in Mikey Moore, and that's a good example. Mikey Moore in a great position, and I think he's just a bit leggy. He's not quite over his illness because it was a poor first touch, He could have got himself a goal there, Mikey Moore, but I think these minutes in the long run will do him good, but he's clearly still quite leggy after his illness. As Elfsborg play a big diag in around Pedro Porro, and they're in down the left here. Oh, it's a poor ball. They're quite poor, Elfsborg, and it was offside anyway. We're into the last minute and a half or so of this. And at last, there will be an opportunity after my instant match reaction video. There will be an opportunity for me to speak to Spurs fans, and we'll all be quite happy, I think, for the first time in quite a long time. Mike Barris is another very good understated performance from Ben Davis. Completely agree. What a professional he is. Always 7 out of 10, Ben Davis. 6 or 7 out of 10. Dart B asked, do we know what Moore's illness was? We don't. And Ange asked us not to speculate, but for me, I bet it's glandular fever. That would be my guess. Austin goes long with the goal kick. Bergvall challenged this man without even looking at the ball there. Go away with one there a little bit. He's got to be careful. He's on a booking, don't forget. Ben Davis. Nice ball, breaking the press into Basuma, who just chooses to keep it and goes back to Sarr, who's filled in okay at left back. Hasn't had to do too much. Goes back to Archie Gray. Spurs under a bit of pressure from the press here. He goes back to Brandon Austin, who just whacks it. And why not? Into the last minute of the game. Up to Mikey Moore, who can't quite get it down under the pressure from the fullback. Don't forget, guys, in about 30 seconds or so, it'll be the instant match reaction. And then after that, the post-match fan show. And this has been a very satisfying night to work for Tottenham Hotspur, who are through to the Europa League last 16. As Bergvall wins a good header to Mikey Moore. And he gets away from his man now. Is there a chance here? Mikey Moore driving at the back four. Cuts inside twice. Going to have a shot. He scores! Mikey Moore! First goal for the club. Driving at the back four. They were backpedaling. Cuts across two men onto his right foot. Puts it in the bottom left-hand corner. The kids are all right. What a night. Glenn Hoddle just saying on co-commentary, he started the game just like that. And then he just lost it a little bit. I think there's still, it's a lot of work to do, I think, in terms of his legs getting back from illness. But then this is it. Beats his man in midfield with strength, then drives across the box, and then bottom left-hand corner. It's a great finish on his right foot. And like I said, a naturally two-footed player, Mikey Moore. And I'm pleased for him. That's a monkey off his back now. Got his first goal for the club. Great night for Spurs. And it looks like we finish in 4th place in the Europa League table. I'm so pleased. 3 academy graduates with the goals. How often do you see that in any game? And that is full time. Brilliant, brilliant stuff for Spurs. Hi guys, this is my instant match reaction video, and as you can see, I'm smiling. My tone is up. Tottenham Hotspur have beaten Elfsborg 3-0 with 3 goals from academy graduates. Incredible stuff. And Ange Postecoglou just walking onto the pitch now. It's straight after the game, going straight up to Lucas Bergvall, who he gave a little bit of stick to for trying to do things a little bit too paradisey in the first half, but he knows what a shift Bergvall has put in recently for him and what a great job he's done. Tottenham were patient tonight and needed to be. We got 45 minutes into the legs of Mickey van der Ven. We got 75-odd minutes into the legs of Richarlison. Sonny was taken off at halftime. He had his best 45 minutes for a long time. Just such a satisfying performance. We were patient because Elfsborg just played with 11 men behind the ball the whole game, as we've seen so many times teams do at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium over the last 18 months. But we were patient. And we knew they'd get tired in the second half, and they did. And then, because of an injury to Radu Dragusin, very unfortunate, Dane Scarlett, the lesser spotted Dane Scarlett, came on up front. We changed things. We put Pape Matar into the left-back position, and suddenly the tempo raised. It was almost like having a bit more legs from the energy of the youth player of Dane Scarlett, and then Ajayi afterwards coming on. We raised the tempo, And Scarlett got the vital first goal. Beautiful cross from Decky Kulusevski, who had been moved into that kind of 8-10 role where we automatically looked better from that. And he got a good cross in from the right. Scarlett made a beautiful run in between his two centre-backs to the nearest post, nods it down into the bottom right-hand corner. And from then, there was only going to be one winner. Second goal comes from this substitute, Ajayi, another academy graduate. Drives in from the right, beats a couple of men with his pace. Little 1-2 with Dane Scarlett, who gets the assist and buries it into the bottom right-hand corner. And then with the last kick of the game, Mikey Moore, who played the entire game, coming back from his illness, he won his little duel in central midfield with some strength, and then drove at the back line, comes across two of the centre-backs, and then puts it into the bottom left-hand corner. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And let's face it, it's been horrible being a Spurs fan recently. It's been absolutely horrible. But on a night like this, you can see why Ange Postecoglou says, I hope I'm here in 3 years' time to benefit from the fruits of the labor of the young squad that we're putting together. Because, you know, when you think about players like Ajayi, who, let's face it, I don't follow the academy that closely, so I don't know a lot about him, but he showed confidence, he showed bravery, and he got on the ball. And he made something happen for himself. Look, we know how talented Mikey Moore is. He looked great in the first 20 minutes of the game tonight, starting on the right-hand side. That's where, for me, I think he causes the most damage. Then he kind of slipped out of the game a little bit. And I think, you know, there's a lot of tiredness still in his legs from that illness. But then with the last chance of the game, he showed that he has the tenacity and the confidence to still, despite having missed a few good touches and not had the best game in the kind of middle 60 minutes, he drove at the back line and got himself his first goal for the club. And I'm proud of him. I'm proud of Ajayi. And I'm very proud of Dane Scarlett, who I'm sure now will stay with this squad for the remainder of this season. And Will Lancashire will likely go out on loan to get his opportunity to play some men's senior football, which clearly has benefited Dane Scarlett just in terms of making those important runs, getting on the end of things, holding the ball up, bringing players into the game. And Tottenham will benefit from that. And look, we've got a couple of very, very difficult games coming up, but this can only benefit the confidence in the side. I'll quickly take you through what happened in the game. Mikey Moore in the first minute beat two players and got a great cross in. Fifth minute, Porro with a good cross, nearly found Richarlison. I have to give good credit to Pedro Porro, who's another 95 minutes in his legs. He is the only player, because Decky Kulusevski got a rest for a half today. Porro, just the only player who's having to play every single game. And he gets stick because the ball goes in behind him a lot, and he's not a great defender, especially when he's so leggy as he is at the moment. But he tries his heart out. He tries to be creative over and over and over again. And he had a decent game today, Porro, but his cross in the 5th minute nearly found Richarlison, just hit the top of his head and went wide. More brilliance from Mikey Moore in the 6th minute. Beat two men and drove into the box, but nothing quite came of it. And that first half was all about that. Lots of attempts from Spurs to get into the box. We kept the ball in the final third all the time. Elfsborg couldn't get out, but because there were so many bodies in and around that box, we could not find the final ball. 13th minute, good stuff down the left between Ben Davis and Son Heung-min. Led to a corner. It was a good 1-2. The corner was great and nearly led to a goal as well, but nothing came from it. Actually, back in the 9th minute as well, our set pieces were better tonight. Good corner from Son, nearly heading at the near post from Ben Davis. I've mentioned Ben Davis twice there in the first 15 minutes. What a professional that boy is. Always gives you 6 or 7 out of 10. He had to play in 2 different positions tonight. And really important that we got those minutes into his legs because, of course, he's coming back from an injury as well. 19th minute, beautiful first-time ball from Mikey Moore around the corner to Porro. Unfortunately, a poor cross. 20th minute, great cross from Son, only just over Richarlison's head. It was a right-footed cross from the left. Richarlison making that run across the box but couldn't get anything on it. But it was dangerous. Sonny, who had his best half, like I mentioned, for a long time, beat 3 men in the 22nd minute, got to the byline, and a cross then headed into the keeper's arms by Pedro Porro. Mickey van der Ven played that first half and then was taken off at half-time just to protect him. He was so good, just so strong and muscular, using his strength, being in the right position, constantly recycling the ball for Tottenham Hotspur. We've really missed him so much. What a Rolls Royce he is, and he played so well in that first half. Richarlison, the 26th minute. Spurs were hit on the transition, but he worked his nuts off to chase all the way back into our own penalty box almost to win the ball back for Spurs. Great stuff. Fans loved that. 29th minute, great ball from Van der Ven over the top. Sonny got to the ball just by the byline, crosses it on the volley, and it's just headed into the keeper's arms. And then 30th minute, long shot from Porro over the bar. Great stuff from Son down the left, deflected to Sarr, whose shot was cleared off the line in the 32nd minute. Elfsborg could not get out of their half. Then the Richarlison shot over the bar when he's trying to bend it into the far corner in the 35th minute. 38th minute, more great stuff from Son getting to the byline on the left, cut it back to Mikey Moore. He had a great right foot effort at the near post, well saved. That was where Moore nearly scored his goal. Didn't quite happen. 39th minute, some great defending one-on-one from Archie Gray after a transition. Then into the second half, like I mentioned, Basuma, Kulusevski and Dragoshin came on for Bentancur, Van der Ven and Son. A shot from Davis in the 48th minute from outside the box, straight down the keeper's throat. Good ball from Deki Kulusevski to Pape Matsar in the box. In the 49th minute, he tried to back heel it back to Kulusevski. Maybe he should have held it up, but Sarr came into this game more as the game went on. Felt like he was getting those minutes into his legs and improving after his poor performance where Ange said he had an injury against Leicester. Then the most dangerous moment for Spurs all game. 52nd minute, Elfsborg nearly scored. It came to their striker just 5 yards out. His back to goal. He got an overhead kick in, but fortunately, Brandon Austin put him under enough pressure where he got it over the bar. It came down the left as most of the danger to Spurs does at the moment. 57th minute, great play from Porro, though. Drives into the box, cut the ball back, diving header from Lucas Bergvall. Decent save from their keeper. 61st minute was when Dragoshin went down with a very dodgy looking injury. Looks like he's tweaked his knee. His studs got caught in the ground. And I would not be surprised if that keeps him out for a month at the least. Let's see what happens. But at least I guess we have Mickey van der Ven coming back. And of course, Archie Gray, once again, another absolute Rolls Royce of a performance. 63rd minute, huge interception from Basuma whilst Dragoshin was off as he kind of temporarily played at centre back. Then 65th minute was the change. Scarlett came on for Dragoshin. Sarr moves to left back. Good stuff in the 67th minute from Moore and Scarlett, nearly finding Kulusevski in the box. And then the 69th minute, so soon after he came on, the goal for Dane Scarlett. The tempo had really upped since he came on. Beautiful cross from the right. Scarlett headed it in, bottom right-hand corner. 71st minute, another chance straight away. Great shot, well saved from Moore. Keeper down to his right from inside the box. 79th minute, Richarlison comes off for Ajayi. Rishi, I made a note here, played really well. But then straight away, 83rd minute, the goal from Ajayi. Brilliant. As I mentioned, drove at his defenders, beat them, laid it into Scarlett's feet, plays it back to him, and a great finish bottom right-hand corner. In the last 10-15 minutes, Spurs were just knocking it about, keeping the ball, making Elfsborg try and get it, and they couldn't get near us. 86th minute shot from Deki Kulusevski straight into the keeper's arms, and then the pièce de résistance, the last-minute goal from Mikey Moore, driving at the back line, beating three men for pace and getting it into the bottom left-hand corner. Just a lovely, lovely game. Spurs keeping the ball, recycling it so well. Mickey van der Ven getting the minutes and showing how much we've missed him. And just vital that we got in that top 8 to get through to the next round of Europe. And for me, I don't know what you think, guys, but it takes a little bit of pressure off Ange for that Liverpool game, I think, because we know we're in the last 16 of the Europa League now. And that is where over 2 legs in each round, maybe realistically, Tottenham have their best chances. We do have to go to Anfield next week in that game. I do think we'll give them a great game. And obviously, Liverpool will have bigger fish to fry. They came top of their Champions League group. They're top of the league. They're in all the tournaments. So they will be, I think, less motivated than Tottenham in that second leg. But of course, before that, we got the Brentford game away at the weekend. And, well, we all know Brentford have a great record at the G-Tech Stadium. So I'm just hopeful that this 3-0 win tonight, a clean sheet, a good performance, a patient performance, will allow us to go to Brentford with some motivation, some confidence. But I'll be honest with you, and I don't want to neg a good night, but yeah, I'm not mega hopeful that our league form is going to massively improve with a result at Brentford. But look, maybe they can surprise me, and I really, really hope they do. That has been your instant match review to the Tottenham 3, Elfsborg 0 game. A great night for Spurs. Gets us through to the last 16 without having to play a 2-legged playoff in the Europa League. And still, the possibility of Spurs making what has been a horrible few months into an incredible end of the season in the cup competitions goes on. And it is enjoyable, whilst that is still a possibility, to think that maybe, just maybe, something amazing could happen. Make sure you like this video if you're watching it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot. Okay, guys, welcome back. This is the fan show after the Tottenham 3, Elfsborg 0 game. Listen, what a time to be a Spurs fan, just to enjoy a victory at last. It feels like it's been so long. I guess we did beat Hoffenheim last week, so it hasn't been that long, but tonight felt a little bit more under control, a little bit more enjoyable, and we are into the last 16 of the Europa League. In this show, I will be talking to a number of Spurs fans from around the world, and we will be discussing the Tottenham versus Elfsborg game, of course, the 3-0 win. But let's get started, shall we? And we're going to go first to 1 second. We're going to go first to Melvin. Is that you? Can you hear me, Melvin?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, top man. Listen, so good to be able to speak to you after a victory. Melvin is all the way over in Malta. How do you feel after that game, mate?
Yeah, I mean, you have to love it when kids, when the academy products score, when they turn up. It lifts the stadium, lifts the atmosphere, lifts the fans. Something that we needed, to finally talk to you after a victory. I don't think we've spoken much lately, after the victory. Obviously frustrating times, but today is one that makes you go to sleep happy, makes you have a good day the next day. Loved to see Scarlett score. Obviously Mikey Moore was impressive. Was happy with Son. I thought Son was great. Pedro Porro was great. Unlucky with Dragizin's injury now. I think that's the only downer. The performance overall was solid. We got the win in the end. Wasn't the best first half. We didn't take our chances. But I thought the effort was there. How great was it to see Van de Ven again?
So good.
Just made me smile immediately. And it just the high press was back. There's confidence that he's gonna make up the ground if they're gonna counter attack. It's great to have Van de Ven back. I'm sure to lift the spirits in the team.
Yeah. And
probably within the next few weeks and maybe month, we'll start to see more and more and more coming back. Obviously, it's fucking shame Dragizin got injured. I mean, Dragizin hasn't stopped playing since the Man City game, I believe, in the 4-win victory. He hasn't stopped playing since then. Yeah. And it's something I said on when I spoke to Chris the other day. I fear that, and I mentioned Archie Gray and Porro and Kulusevski, because they have not stopped. Just simple as that. They haven't stopped playing. And it's a shame now that we got one back and we lose another one. It's sadly, it's part of this cycle that we're stuck in at the moment. We get one back and we lose another. But I'm still happy. I didn't even know some of these kids, to be honest with you.
No, me
Barnaby.
too.
I obviously Dane Scarlett, and we've seen Mikey Moore, and Mikey Moore's looked like he was going to score today from the beginning. And my dad told me, he said he's going to score today, because I missed the first 5 minutes, and he said he started well, he looks sharp.
Yeah.
And we actually missed him, when he was out, because I feel he'd be much further along in his development, like Archie Gray is at the moment, Bergvall is at the moment. I'd feel he'd be more comfortable, more settled. But for 17, to be doing this kind of stuff I don't think it's normal. Even the crop of players we have at the moment, I don't think we've had a squad this young showing this amount of promise, which is something to be excited about. I know at the moment it seems like Tottenham Hotspur is a sinking ship and we're struggling in the league. But we're good in the cups, which is something to be happy about. I mean,
and that's something that Spurs fans have been asking for years. I mean, people are forgetting this, but literally Spurs fans for years, about 4, 5, 6 years, have been saying, I don't care about top 4. I want us to go far in the cups. Well, you're getting, some of those people are getting what they wish for, because we've literally kind of, in the league, they're clearly not as excited about it. Can I just say, before we go on, Tottenham's possible round of 16 opponents are AZ Alkmaar, Galatasaray, Real Sociedad, or FC Midtjylland. So I'm pretty sure that's either the 13th or 14th place team from the league stage, which is, I think, AZ or Galatasaray, or Sociedad or Midtjylland, which is maybe the 21st or 22nd. But anyway, obviously,
Right.
I think the dream there for me would be not to go to Galatasaray again. But you know, none of those teams did as well in the league as we did. So, and we will have players back by then.
Right. I want to just say one thing. I remember having a podcast with you when years ago, when we had Jose Mourinho, and we were discussing at the time, talking about how if we get to a cup final or even close to a cup final, or we even win a trophy, let's say we do win a trophy, it would change things at the club. It would change the mentality of the players. They would be hungry to win more. And I know right now it seems bad, but sometimes in football you get a bit of luck and you get to a final. Let's say we get to a League Cup final, which we have one foot in the door at the moment. It would change something at the club. It would change the mood. It would change the mentality of the players. The players all of a sudden would be hungry to win something else or get to that final again. Something that a lot of these players have never played in a final. I think most of the players. I know we have some players that won things. You know, Madison won with Leicester and Sonny won international honors. But most of our squad haven't won. You know, but so they need to know that feeling. And
No, I agree.
If we can get to a final, it would be great for the club, especially this early in the project. I know it doesn't seem likely because we're struggling in the league, but you never know. You know, in the Europa League, if we get all of our players back by March, I believe the first leg is in March for us. If we can get 6 or 7 players back, maybe a signing, who knows? Maybe.
Yeah. No, but just before I let you go, I want to say this. I've been saying it for a while, but I think our best chance of winning the Europa League is if we win the Carabao Cup. I think if we can get through against Liverpool by hook or by crook, and it's going to be difficult, then I think we'll be playing Newcastle in the final, and they're almost like the best team we could face in the final, because even though they've got a great team and Isak's so good, there will be more pressure on them to win than there even is on us, because they haven't won a trophy for like 65 odd years. So I think if we can win that Carabao Cup, then I could really see us going incredibly deep in the Europa League, and I think that's our best chance personally.
I think the atmosphere was good today. I think the fans were lifted. I was there against Leicester, Barnaby. I don't know if you know, you probably don't, but I think I chose the wrong game to go to. You know, if I should have went to this one, not because of the result, but seeing these kids score live. I was happy that I was at the Sheffield game when Mikey Moore made his debut, and I was thinking this might be, you know, an iconic moment. I can say I was there for Mikey Moore's debut, but for him to score today, it's like being there when Harry Kane scored his first goal, or possibly it's that type of moment I feel today.
Yeah. Listen, Melvin, thanks so much once again for being on the show. Really appreciate it. And let's keep these wins going, and I'll speak to you hopefully after another win at the weekend.
For sure, 100%. See you, mate.
Man. Cheers, mate. Okay. Next up, I'm going to Tim Spurrier in the UK. Tim, can you hear me? How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, much better. A bit of a respite from a miserable month or two, so it feels better, right?
Yes, it does. It feels like even the victory against Hoffenheim last week, I felt like was not enjoyable. Whereas today we were a lot more patient and we were able to make it the first game for a long time that didn't feel like a basketball game. Who really impressed you today, Tim?
Well, there's been a few upsides from today. I mean, obviously Mickey being back was just awesome. I just forget quite how magical he is. I was lucky enough to see him at every game last year at home, and he's an amazing player. Really pleased with Sonny. He was on fire today, and I know you guys not mentioned it, but I was literally jumping off the sofa, going, "My God, this is Sonny again." I was a bit worried that sort of middle bit went flat and the stadium went flat, and I thought, oh, here we go, they're going to pinch one, and you know how the Spurs thing goes. But actually that injury to Dragusin was just a stroke of luck, not for him obviously, and Ange was forced to make those changes and bring in Ajayi on and Dane Scarlett, forced to, and you could see that they were much less frightened and more hungry. And it does make you think, why has he not done that before? and he's played these players as sort of out on their feet and tired and just passing the ball sideways and going slowly. And like for Ajayi, for instance, straight in there, and a beautiful 1-2 with Dane, and it's a goal. Mikey was great all game. I thought, yeah, you're right. He was a bit quiet in places, but he was always there or there's about, and he always wanted to beat a man, and happy he scored at the end. So I know they weren't great, a great competition, but we have struggled beating not great competition. So we beat them, and the kids have done us proud. My one worry is we'll be Spurs and not play them again or put them out on loan, which is classically what we've done.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm so pleased for all of them getting their goals, of course, and clearly Mikey Moore is highly rated by Ange Postecoglou. With Ajayi and even, I mean, I would probably more use the example of Dane Scarlett. When I've seen Dane Scarlett play for Spurs previously in pre-season games and the times he's got on the pitch, he has looked raw and young and not ready. And now he's gone out on a few loans, none of which have kind of really ripped anything up. But he's come back, and even just something as little as making that run across the box at the right time from deep in between two centre-backs, for me, shows what he's learnt from going out and playing some genuine senior football. Whereas what I'd say about Ajayi, and I haven't seen much, and obviously it was great, but he did, I agree with you, he drove and he used his pace and he was confident. But I think we just have to trust that Ange, seeing these kids every day, he'll know when's right for each player to go out and get senior football and then come back. And listen, I think it'll be amazing for Ajayi's development and confidence going forward that he got a goal, but it would not surprise me at all if we saw him go out on loan, and I won't be upset about it.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm being a bit naughty. I suppose it's just years and almost decades of having really good youth players and youth teams, and then not seeing them properly, just to maybe have one or two come through. And I just remember when I was young that we had, captains of England youth team, and then we'd never see them again.
Yeah,
so,
Darren Caskey. Although he did play quite a few games for us. I'll just say, because this is relevant, Ali Gold has just tweeted saying Will Lancashire is set to head out on loan now with Burnley, Middlesbrough, West Brom, Cardiff and Luton. So all Championship clubs among those interested. Clubs abroad also interested, but Spurs keen to get him playing in the Championship. So I think that's going to work out well for Dane Scarlett for the rest of the season. And the fact that he's got a big, important goal for Spurs, it's a good chance for him, I think.
I think that's great for the swap there for Scarlett and Lancashire is probably great. And you're right. It wasn't that he was doing anything spectacular. He was just doing good, solid football. And that, as you say, that run across the box and just placing that header in. And then that nice 1-2 with Ajayi. None of it was spectacular, but it was like, yeah, that's good. And you're right. He's probably learnt that by playing day in, day out against some really hard centre-backs, right?
Yeah. Now, Tim, answer me the difficult question that I almost feel like I don't want to bring up, but is there any chance of taking this momentum on to Brentford at the weekend?
It's hard to say, isn't it? Because we have lots of little false dawns. All I'm going to say is this, that if we do manage to scrape through, not particularly the Brentford game, but say
Liverpool.
We've got some almost like a new fresh legs coming back that are world class. So it might almost do us a favour that we can have, Romero and the like coming back with fresh legs going on. I don't know about who's going to turn up at Brentford. Who knows? When anyone asks me the score, I say 5-2, but I just don't know who to. Really. And it feels a bit that way.
That's what was enjoyable about tonight, is it wasn't a basketball game. Do you know what?
No.
It was, like I said at the beginning, it was just calm. Yeah,
which is unusual. So the weekend, I really couldn't tell you. What I do hope against Liverpool is we score the first goal and then we got a chance. And we got fresh legs coming back. But all we can, I mean, we're Spurs fans, right? We can only live with hope because that's all we've had for years.
No away goals in the Carabao Cup semi-finals anymore, unfortunately.
No.
Obviously, before I let you go, there's some talk of potential signings in the last few days of the window. What do you think? Are you kind of reticent to get excited like I am because you've seen it all too many times before?
I've seen it too many times that names have come up and come and gone. I mean, the boy at Bayern would be a fantastic, even if it was on loan, a fantastic addition to the squad. I think it's been a bit of a the usual eyes to the heavens of, we have absolutely needed bodies in, and we're few days away from the end of the window, and nothing really's happened apart from Kinski, who's good, but not what we needed. I think there's a chance we'll get him in from Bayern. I really do think there's a strong chance of that. The talk of the boy at Brentford, Whistler, I don't particularly want him, and I don't think it will go through. I think this is Spurs playing games to try and get that Bayern lad in.
Okay. Has there been newer reports about Whistler tonight then?
No, it was just yesterday, wasn't it? And then I just don't think it'll happen. It just seems that I think I heard people say, and I probably agree, he's a solid Premier League player, but he's not someone you think, oh, great, come in now. He'd be a squad player for Spurs, I think. So
yeah.
I can't see him being extremely helpful. But it's a rock and a hard place, isn't it? Because as I said, you've got almost like a full team coming back. All that bench that was shown on the TV tonight is like a team on its own, a fabulous team on its own. So I can kind of understand the club being fairly reticent to spend too much money too quickly.
Well, as I've said before, my issue isn't really with we've got all those players coming back. My issue is when they come back, who else is going to get injured? It's one in, one out, or are they going to get re-injured? So that's my big worry. But listen, mate, thank you so much for calling in. Really appreciate it. And Tim, hopefully get to speak to you after another win next time.
Almost certainly it's going to be a win against Brentford, right? We'll stay positive. See you later, mate.
See you, bye.
Bye.
Okay. Next up, we're going all the way to Canada, and Tom. Tom, thanks for being patient, mate. How do you feel after that 3-0 victory?
Oh, what a difference to see a victory and to see the fans get into it. And thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Don't be silly. I'm absolutely loving your Britney Spears microphone. Who impressed you today? How are you feeling about it all?
I mean, what a difference having Van de Ven in the squad. I mean, you could see just I think from an intensity perspective, I think a lot of players were a lot more comfortable. I think Son was happy to have him on there and just to see the ball movement in the center of the park. And going back to a lot of the injuries, I think I saw a stat yesterday that our back four have never been together. And when they are, I think they've only been together 16 times and we have 12 of those are wins. So, I mean, I think that's the good part is that hopefully some of these guys will come back because, I agree with some of the guests that were on earlier. One silverware, I think, is going to change everything. I think you hope that it's going to, start a momentum and for us to get back into things and to be that much more positive about what we've been doing. Because, when you go back to what Pochettino said after the Champions League, that he wanted to do a rebuild and we didn't do it. And now we're doing it. And it's what we've wanted for years to see this just injection of youth come into the club, and we have it. And now it's just to be patient to see this through, even though we're seeing so many growing pains now. Yeah.
No, I don't disagree. In terms of kind of individual performances tonight, as well as big Mickey Van de Ven, obviously the kids.
Mikey Moore. I mean, I think we really have an unbelievable player on our hands. And I think the more experience he gets and the more game time he gets, the more confidence he will have and the more exposure to the Premier League game. But yeah, I think we have an unbelievable player on our hands and a future superstar and hopefully the heir apparent to Son.
I saw some people in the comments, saying I didn't think Mikey Moore had a good game. He got the ball caught under his feet a lot. I just think for me, and I don't know if you agree, I think clearly, that illness was, for any illness to keep you out for 2 months is big, and it feels to me like it will mean like heavy legs for quite a long time. And I think him getting kind of 95 minutes into those legs tonight will stand him in really good stead going forward. And then add on to that the fact that he got his first goal for the club at the end there. That'll be huge for him.
Well, absolutely. And I think people find it hard to believe that he's 17. I mean, he doesn't look like a 17-year-old, but I mean, it's hard to be in that type of mind frame.
I think he's just turned 18, hasn't he? He's just turned
18.
Sorry.
So to be in front of 62,000 people, though, it has that effect. And I think what you said, too, coming back from an illness, and all has to do with confidence. And the more you get into the game, the more you get to play your game and know who you're playing against and feel more and more comfortable into the system. He's going to be unbelievable, and I think he'll be a starter next year, and I think we'll continue in that pathway for him, and especially with other young players like Vuskovic coming and Ajayi today. I mean, you got to feel great for the kid scoring right away. So hopefully it continues.
And obviously, just what are we? We've got kind of 3-4 more days left of the transfer window now. What are you thinking about these reports that are coming in today? And do you think we'll get 1 or 2 over the line? What do you think is likely to happen in the next few days?
Well, I think that the one thing that's been so disappointing about this transfer window. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Kinski was a great addition, but it just seems like we're panicking now. And is this going to be in the true Tottenham tradition that we just see a ton of rumors and nothing happens? And it was like, well, we tried, but they just didn't want to come. And that's what worries me about Tell today, is that we seem to have an agreement. However, the player hasn't decided yet. And that concerns me, especially with the position we're in the Premier League at 15th. You know, that is he going to look at that and say, well, I don't really want to be part of a 15th place team right now because I might not have Champions League next year. But he's an unbelievable player and would be great into the system. It's just at this point, do we really want players that need to be convinced to come? But I just really hope we do something. But I'm just so disappointing in the chairman and how this has been handled, and how I believe that Ange has just been hung out to dry to answer to the fan base on why nothing's happened.
Can I just play devil's advocate for a second? Because I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but is there not a chance? Bear in mind that since Ange has come in, he has said so publicly and so openly that it's so vital to him that when he talks to a player about trying to persuade them to come to the club, that they really want to come to the club. And if he doesn't feel that from them, then he just says, we move on to the next one. Is it not possible that, as well as obviously, you know, experience telling us that we're never going to pay 10, 15 million pounds over the odds, and we're never going to pay the wages that, you know, Man United or Chelsea or Arsenal or certainly not Man City are going to pay. But is it also not possible that some of the players that we're interested in, and spoke to them and was just like, I don't, like you just said, I don't want to be persuading them. If they're not properly into this project, then no.
Well, and I agree. You know, I think the Tottenham till I die has to take effect somewhere. I mean, I didn't put this on my body for no reason. I mean, I think the players have to want to be there. What I appreciated so much of before this game, the presser where Kulusevski said, you know, I want to be here and I want the manager to be here. And I think that's what you want. You want the player to be like, I want to win here. I don't want to go away and win a trophy somewhere else. I want to win that trophy at Tottenham and be immortal. And I think that's what we all want to see.
Yeah, totally. Listen, Thomas, thanks so much, mate. Really appreciate getting involved in the show today. And let's talk again after another win, I hope. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. No problem. Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. Okay, next up, going all the way to Turkey. Orkun. Am I saying it right?
Hi, Barnaby. Yeah, Orkun.
Orkun. Lovely, mate. Okay. Thanks for getting involved all the way from Turkey, mate. How are you feeling after that 3-0 victory?
More like this, please. Literally from the start, we were in control. It was a game that we were pretty much in control for majority of. Obviously, they had one or two scares. We had one or two scares, some in front of defense. But overall, I would say, we were in control of that. Again, like some of the previous guys said, it's great to see Van der Ven back in the team. I think it gives everybody a confidence, whether it's midfield, attack, wings, etc. I think he had a good game. Like, obviously, he could only, they wanted to manage his minutes, so he only had 45 minutes. But I thought he was solid in those 45 minutes.
Really solid.
Yeah. Today, I have to say, I think obviously, I've been listening. You've been asking who were, standout performers for today. I really think today, actually, because I thought our midfield had a really poor game against Leicester. Bentancur, especially, I thought was really off the pace against Leicester today. Yeah. I think he was really good. Together with Bergvall, they pretty much bossed that midfield. Every time the ball was lost, they recovered it really well. They were threading some really great passes to guys like Mikey Moore, to Son in the first half, and even in the second half, those balls kept coming. Something I'd like to see more, like today, the first goal. Obviously, Dane Scarlett scored it. That's the additional thing. What a great evening for our academy. All 3 goals by academy players.
Can I give you a stat quickly, Orkun, just before you go on? So Mikey Moore is the youngest Englishman to ever score in a major European competition at just 17 years and 172 days old. So I said earlier he was 18 now, and I was completely wrong. Not only was I wrong, I was wrong by about 150 days, probably more, 200 days almost. So brilliant for young Mikey Moore. And
I think before then it was Harry Kane, wasn't it? 18, was it? Oh no,
I'm not sure.
No, anyway, the first goal, again, a fantastic cross in by Pedro Porro.
No,
was it Decky?
It was Decky Kulusevski, yeah.
Decky, yeah, sorry, it was Porro at the weekend for Richarlison's goal.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. I think that's one area that I think we really need to improve, because every time, we whip these fantastic crosses in, and I don't know why we don't do it more often. I think we've got the players who are capable of that. But I think that's an area that I'd really like us to, because every time, we whip those kind of crosses in. I mean, for example, Liverpool score a lot of goals with those kind of crosses, with those kind of things. So I think that's an area that I hope, Ange works a lot more on in training. But yeah, tonight, obviously, the youngsters really put on the show. And this is the thing, you see, this is the one area where obviously a lot of people have been critical of Ange. I personally had not reached the point of I want Ange out, because I do feel that the main reason for our poor run has been the ridiculous injury crisis that we've had. Arguably, maybe some of his, playing style and the rigorous training might be cause for some of these injuries. But overall, a lot of the injuries were picked up either at the, during a game, or during training, like some silly like Solanke's injury. So anyway, the point I'm trying to make is the one area that I personally have always criticized Ange is, why does he not play some of these youngsters? And that includes Jed Spence as well, because players like Jed Spence, even Reguilon, since he's had to come into the team, he's done okay for us, I think. And obviously some of these guys, we all know that young players, they have that additional, when they come into that team, they have that additional, if you like, fight. They want to really prove themselves. So they've got that additional, what they lack in experience, they make up for in enthusiasm, and what, wanting to, really put on a show for, the boss. And it's
important. I think it's important to any club to have people coming up through the academy and putting pressure on the team. Absolutely. Orchan, I've got to let you go in a second, but before I do, sure. Transfer window, do you expect us to get anyone in the next couple of days?
We have to. We need to. I think, it's criminal that we haven't so far. But I think one of the main reasons for this delay, because if you look at a lot of teams haven't really bought anyone. There are other teams that also need players, and they haven't been able to do it. And I think it's because a lot of the potential availabilities, clubs didn't know, especially clubs in the European competitions, didn't know their fate until, this week. Obviously, the Champions League games that have gone on the last 2 days, and today Europa League, and now and tonight. So now that everybody knows their fate, I think it's going to be more likely you'll see probably transfers in the next couple of days by us and also other teams as well.
Orchan, I hope you're right, mate. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to let you go because I've got loads more people to see and only about 18 minutes left. Orchan, let's speak again after another victory,
Definitely.
I hope.
I really do as well. I'm looking forward to the weekend, because obviously we got Jed Spence available. I think we're going to have a bit more of a, stronger team available against Brentford, and I'm expecting Romero to be back. I think Romero is going to be back for Liverpool as well. So I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for that.
Okay.
So
thanks a lot, mate. See you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you, mate.
Okay, before I bring on the next caller, I've got a super chat here from Jerome. How can I get on the fan show next time? If you email tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com, that's tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com, Chris will get you on. Okay, next up, going all the way to Ireland, and one of my favorite old pony shirts that I really hated at the time, but now looks so great and retro. Paddy, mate, some positivity at last. How are you feeling?
Yeah, good. Not so good in the first half. It was very flat. Apart from, Son had skinned his fullback a few times, but and obviously Moore started well. But I think the second half was great to see the youth come through. Three great goals. It just shows when you look at the list of players we have from 17 to 24. It's unbelievable the talent we have, and Donnelly out on loan, who 2 assists and a goal last night as well, was fab, and the keeper. So it looks good, but you still have to wonder, is the lack of signings really because they're not backing Ange, or they're just buying? They don't seem to be backing Ange. I think I have a feeling we're going to get Tomori in. I think with that injury again tonight with Dragusin, I think we need another fullback, and there's rumours around Tomori, so I wouldn't be surprised with that. The one on Tell, it's hard to know. Ange always says he likes to have that conversation, and they really have to want to come to Tottenham. if they've agreed a deal and he said he wants to take his time, it sounds like he's waiting for Arsenal, or he's waiting. And if Arsenal don't get Watkins, are they going to go for him instead, or are they going to go back for Vlahovic, or who are they going to go for? But I think we need someone. But if he doesn't want to come, I just hope we're not up putting all our eggs in one basket and don't have a backup plan. And I hope that guy isn't the guy who failed a medical at AC Milan.
Yes, that one looked like a bit of a dodgy one, like the kind of thing that we're used to getting given at the last minute because nothing else came off. I hope you're right. And what about in terms of going to that Brentford game at the weekend? Obviously, they've got a great record at the GTEC Stadium. Is there any way we can take this momentum on and get something there?
I'm sort of in two minds. In a way, I'd like them to rest some of the players. I'd like them to rest Kulusevski. I'd like them to rest Porro. I know Spence could play right back. Like if you look at Davies, though, Davies has played every single game since he came back from a hamstring. So I don't know who they can rest him for. Hopefully get Van de Ven maybe another 50, 55 minutes this time. Mm-hmm. I'd nearly, to be honest, at this stage, I'd nearly sacrifice it just to have a fully fit squad ready to go for Liverpool. Because, getting to a final, we're 1-0 up. The fact that we hopefully will have our two centre-backs back. I mean, Dragsson, I don't have any confidence in him anyway. He's just liable to make a mistake, or he doesn't pressure the ball. I don't think it suits our style unless people are pumping the ball into the box. It's not the type of defender he is. He looked great in the Euros, but I think we might get a draw at the weekend, but I'd sacrifice it if I thought we were going to rest 4 or 5 of our key players and have them sit up and be ready for Anfield next Thursday, because I think that's going to be a barnstormer. And for some reason, I just have a feeling we might get a draw.
I really, really hope you're right. I'm sorry to cut it short, but I've got a few more people to speak to before the end of the show. But lovely to talk to you, mate. And let's speak after another win, I hope.
Cheers. Good luck. Bye.
Oh, man. Bye. Okay. Next up is Mark. Mark, how are you doing, mate? How are you feeling after that victory?
I'm happy for the win, definitely. Feeling a bit pedestrian in the first half. They looked like they were playing with a little bit of fear. Afraid to let one in and the crowd turn on them. I think even from time to time, I think even Andrew was looking at them thinking, I'm not asking you to play this way. And I think
that was when Bergvall was trying a bit too hard, I think, wasn't
Absolutely. And I think when half time came, I think he probably settled them down a little bit and said, you can't play with fear. You've got to attack them. Because they were sitting in for the evening. I think they were hoping for at least a draw. Yeah. And maybe the opportunity to counter-attack us, which they did on 1 or 2 occasions. But at least with Davis, who I thought played really well today, made a very good performance considering he hasn't played for a while. So I was happy with that, and I was also pleased with the young kids getting a couple of goals for us as well. So it's a positive in that way. So we've got a happy household at the moment, as well as the wife and the dog.
Let me ask you this question. I was saying during the watch-along that I feel like Mikey Moore is much better suited to playing on the right and driving in narrow onto his left side. He seems just more comfortable there. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do actually. And I think, it's even like with Spence as well, when he's playing out of position. As much as he can play in different positions, he's more comfortable coming down his natural side. And like Mikey Moore, I think he's very much more comfortable in when he switched around and confident in what he was doing, rather than thinking about the back pass or trying to turn over his own feet because he's not naturally in the right direction. But he's a promising young lad who, considering he's, like you said, he's 17, nearly 18 or whatever it is, and he's a strong lad as well. So that really helps in those positions.
All right. And before I let you go, Mark, obviously transfer window closes in a couple of days. How confident are you feeling that we're going to get someone to excite the fan base?
As a Spurs fan for the last 40 plus years, it almost feels as though it's look what we try to do. And unfortunately, we've bought these players that are going to turn up in the summer.
Okay, that's not the positivity I was looking for, Mark. But listen, thank you so much for being a part of the show, and let's speak again after another victory. Top man.
Yeah, take care.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. Okay, next up, our regular Paul in Ireland. Paul, good to speak to you after a win, mate. How are you feeling?
Quite good, actually, to be fair. I suppose great to see Mickey back. There just looked like to be a complete calmness about the whole 11 that started the game. He has a presence about him, and it's just, yeah, he just brings a whole calmness to the whole players, and they showed. Look, it was a bit of a slow burner. Most of the ball, they parked 5 or 6 buses, and it's quite hard to get through. But as one of your previous callers has said, I think, unfortunately for Dragosin, nobody wants to see an injury, especially us. But it was probably a blessing in disguise, because we had to bring on players that were more attack-minded, and the whole game opened up. And I think it suited us in the end. And once we got one, I was fairly confident we were going to get 3 or 4. We just had that kind of aura about us as soon as the first one went in. And great to see the academy getting on the score sheet. They were just fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely agree. And I also want to give some props to kind of almost like some of the players who will go below under the radar. I thought Archie Gray again, Brandon Austin was very calm, and Ben Davis especially.
If we could clone Ben Davis and make another 3 or 4 of them, I'd be quite happy. He's just, for a man of his age, and that has put in as much as he has for Tottenham over the years, and he can still do it. Mr. Reliable, non-stop. It's just, he's very rare day he'd have a bad game.
Yeah. And Paul, how do you feel about the transfer window the last few days? Are we going to get anyone in to excite us?
Yeah. Look, I'd be fairly confident we might get 1 or 2 in. This chap from Bayern Munich, I would prefer. No, I don't have a name to mind. I would prefer maybe someone a bit more experienced. Now, look, I know he's 19. No, I know we have a lot of teenagers. You'd like to see someone that has been maybe established in, if it's out in Europe, a top or top-ish European team that has been playing, regular 23, 24, 25-year-old, bit more experienced. But look, that's not to say that this boy wouldn't come in. While I was supposed to be working today, I spent a lot of time on YouTube having a nose. And he looks quite exciting. A proper Tottenham player. He can dribble, he can score, he can make goals, which is what we all want to see. Are we going to spend 55, 60 million in January to make a permanent? I'm not so sure. Get him on loan for 6 months and hopefully get us over the line in what I think, and I did say this to you a couple of weeks ago, I think our best chance of a trophy is this Europa League. Once we got through this stage of it and made the last 16, I think two-legged rounds will suit us down to the ground once we get a fully fit squad back. I do think that we can go away to teams and maybe get a draw, even sneak a win, and beat them out the door at the lane.
Paul, I hope you're right, mate. Let's talk again after the weekend, where hopefully we can get a result at Brentford. Top man, thanks a lot, Paul.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, next up is John. John, thank you for being patient, mate. Can you hear me?
That's
How are you feeling?
Yeah.
You're in Spain, aren't you, John? How are you feeling after that 3-0 win?
I am in Spain. I think it's relief and satisfaction. You kind of expect to beat a team like Elfsborg, but there was a reasonable performance in terms of control and industry. I think I put it in the chat. I agree with some of the previous comments. There was a bit pedestrian at times. So I think we had some challenges there. But I think it was crucial. I said on the fan show with Chris the other day, I was saying that this game for me is the most crucial of all, just because avoiding the playoff in the Europa League was essential. We just can't afford the Churchill games, and you just don't know through February exactly how much of the squad is going to be fit and available, and so you can get a banana skin and be out before you know it. So, but come March, when this restarts, the last 16 restarts, we should have something resembling our full squad. I do think it's I I don't know if it's our best chance, but realistically, when you have to go away to Liverpool with who are a great side at the moment, and we haven't got our full side, there's all to play for when we've got a lead. But, you know, if we went out, it wouldn't surprise that many people, let's face it. It wouldn't be that surprising unfortunately, if we lost to Villa at the moment away in the FA Cup. And it won't be that surprising if we didn't get a result against Brentford. I think, I don't think that should be, I don't think we should measure how well or badly we're doing based on that week, which would be a disaster or really uplifting. I think you have to wait and just find a way to get through February without it getting worse than it is, and hope that in the Europa League we can really have a crack at it. And I do say, though, that it's ridiculous to consider us favourites, but we're one of 5 or 6 teams that could win it. That's what I'd say. You know, I think the favourites are Bilbao. They're going great guns. I mean, I'm not saying it just because I'm in Spain. They're not far off the top of La Liga. They've got a really solid team. The manager's the old Barcelona manager, Valverde. He knows what he's doing. They've got players like Nico Williams. And the finals at San Mamés at their ground.
Yeah.
And they've just won the Spanish Cup last year in a difficult environment where everything is really won by Barcelona, Real Madrid, or Atletico. So there are teams there that are really kind of well structured. But you know, I quite like the idea of getting Galatasaray, to be honest, because I think that I'd like to put right. Yeah, it was the worst performance of the season, really, and I don't think that we were incredibly incompetent, and they still only beat us by 1 goal. So I think our best team beats them quite comfortably.
Good point.
But yeah, really happy. Today.
Yeah, good man. I have to keep it short, I'm afraid, because I've got a couple more people and only a few minutes. But let's speak again from all the way from Spain, mate, when we've got a win at the weekend, hopefully. Top man.
Fingers crossed. Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, next up, we've got Des. Des, how are you feeling, mate? Thanks for being so patient. Are you pretty pleased after that 3-0 win?
I am indeed, Barnaby. I'm really pleased. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it was quite good tonight. Really, really impressed with Archie Gray. The kind of coolness and maturity that he plays with is unbelievable for someone who probably wouldn't have played anywhere near as many games as he has. And obviously that goes for Bergfall as well. I think between them they've played over 40 games, which is incredible.
Amazing. Because
that wasn't part of the plan. People like myself have probably slated Hans over the last few months and stuff, but whatever Hans has done, he's built them for the future with these young guys and giving them a chance and bringing them in. So fair play on that. And Gray, certainly guys, obviously I live in York, work with guys who support Leeds, and one person in particular told me how good this kid was during the summer when Spurs signed him. And by all accounts, he has a younger brother coming through the Leeds Academy who's only 15, who's equally as good. So, and obviously the Gray family go back a long way with Leeds. So my hope is that people like him can change the mentality of the club. Mickey Van Van, players like that, and hopefully, if they all play well, it encourages players like Romero to stay, to not look at places like Real Madrid or anywhere else.
And Des, where are you at with Ange right now? Then and how do you feel the next couple of games are going to go? Which are obviously huge. The next week is huge for Spurs. Yeah,
for me, a bit different from what everyone else has been saying tonight. I think Brentford's crucial to win. The cup's brilliant, if we get through, brilliant, but the league is where the finance comes from, where you build from for the future. So definitely we have to go to Brentford and at least avoid defeat, whatever happens, and that's why I think Mickey will play again on Sunday, and Romero might come back. Avoid defeat in that game because you've got Ipswich playing Southampton, you've got Leicester. I don't think they have a tough game at the weekend, so you lose the Brentford game, we could find ourselves 5 points ahead of some of these teams, which then starts to get very concerning.
Yeah, that is a scary problem.
Yeah, and my mind has changed a few times, but he wants to play the right way, and I suppose for once, with Slate Levy, and he deserves it most of the time, but at least for once he's not pulling the trigger and he's sticking with the manager, so credit for that.
Mate, I'm actually really
something that we don't. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, Des, I'm actually really pleased you brought that up, because I think you know, a lot of people have been asking for him to stick with a manager for a while, and he is now doing it. So you can't kind of damn him one way and the other at the same time. But anyway, listen, Des, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Let's talk again, hopefully after a win against Brentford.
Hopefully. Thanks very much, Barnaby.
Bye-bye.
Good evening. Cheers.
And the very patient, but finally, John, thank you so much for waiting, mate. How are you feeling at the end of that 3-0 victory in the Europa League, getting us through to the last 16?
Yeah, really good. Really good. I thought started off probably a little bit first half, a little bit anxious, given what happened before, particularly the Leicester game. But they weren't really in the game. They just sat off, and we had to work it out. And in the second half, we we got the results, scored some good goals. Pleased for the kids that scored. Pleased for Ange as well. I thought Ange managed the game well today, with taking Van de Ven at half time, putting Son at half time. Yeah. And then, it kind of fell into place a little bit. And I thought, fair play to you. Granted, it's Elfsborg, but you can only beat who's in front of you. And given the run that we're on, that we'll take anything at the minute. So yeah, really pleased for him.
And who really impressed you this evening? Sorry.
Good to see Van de Ven back. Obviously, he's just quality in there. I'm not Porro's biggest fan, but I have to say, in the last month, 6 weeks, that guy stood up more than some of his counterparts of a similar age, who I'm a little bit disappointed with. He's just playing and playing and playing. Archie Gray, good again. Ben Davis. But Kulusevski, I think, coming on was the game changer, really. And then particularly him moving into the middle. Yeah. Really changed it up ultimately. But big shout out to the young lads as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I don't know if it's likely to happen, but I wouldn't mind Mikey Moore getting a start at the weekend on the right to allow Kulusevski to play in the middle.
I like with Mikey Moore. I like he was taking people on. Okay, lost the ball a couple of times. He don't mind that. He gets in players' heads by doing things like that. Played on the right, played on the left. Delighted he scored. Absolutely delighted for him that he scored at the end. So yeah, 100%. Yeah, starting again for sure.
And just before I let you go, mate, transfer window finishes in a few days. Slams shut. Are we gonna get someone in to excite the fan base? What do you think?
I think our transfer window was shut firmly after Mikey Moore scored tonight. I think Levy's just probably looked at Ange and gone, no, you don't need anyone. I don't think we're going to buy anyone. I've got no faith in that Johan Lange and Scott Munn and whoever else it is up there. I've got no faith in them. I don't think we're going to get anybody, unfortunately.
Okay, well, I'm hoping your negativity will lead to some kind of like the ether letting you be wrong.
Psychology, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it will, but it'd be great if we did, but I just can't think we will.
Well, let's talk more about it at the weekend, mate. Thanks so much for being on the show. Really appreciate it. And speak to you soon.
See you later.
Bye. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the fan show. Please do give this video a like, press subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to Chris's channel at Chris Cowlin, bringing you all the daily content. Also, if you'd like to appear on a future episode of the fan show, please email tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. That's tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. It's really important to us that the channel gives everyone a voice, particularly from those around the world. So wherever you are, please do get in touch. Okay, guys, thank you to all of you who've tuned in for the last 3 hours. It's been worth it. At last, a watch along and an instant match reaction and a fan show. It's been worth hanging around with, and all because of the great engagement with you guys in the comments. Really appreciate it. Like I said, please do make sure you subscribe to Chris's channel at Chris Cowlin on YouTube. Also, my channel at Barnaby Slater _ I'm getting close to 15,000 subscribers. So if you don't subscribe to me yet, if you like Tottenham transfer news during the windows and also just regular Tottenham news every day, please subscribe at Barnaby Slater _ on YouTube. Really appreciate it. Also, Chris, most importantly, will now be coming in 5 minutes time on his channel in the live bit, but on a different feed with the Spurs Chat podcast from 11 p.m. He'll be joined by Gareth McGuinness, Dustin Law, and Matt Fielder. So please go and switch to that to get involved in the Spurs Chat podcast. More Tottenham content, and finally, after a win for the next hour and a half or so, starting in about 5 minutes time. Guys, enjoy your weekend. At least we got a win, and maybe, who knows, we can take some momentum into that Brentford game. Come on, you Spurs.